broken system, chained and tangled up in lies. Voices shouting, screaming in defeat. Politicians playing games under darkened skies. Hope lost in the dust of the street. Red and blue, colors pouring from the sky. Debates turn to anger, the crowd gets loud. Punches flying in the blink of an eye. Truth buried deep beneath the shroud. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive. Faces on the screen, flashing perfect teeth. But behind those eyes, just rotting greed. Politicians turn to whispers beneath. They all just get what they need. Whispering conspiracies, drowning in their lies. Echoes of freedom, lost in cries. Spin the wheel of fate, let's see who rise. But this game will bleed you dry. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive.
Welcome to another Sunday evening edition of the Bullpen. We've got our full slate of co-hosts, since Mad's apparently not a co-host because he doesn't show up. So
Go figure.
For
So
everyone in chat, if you super chat $500, Mad will show up.
Mad will show up. Yeah,
Yep.
good luck getting him.
Magically.
$500 is the goal for Mad to show
I
up.
don't think he's woken up in days, because I texted him earlier today, told him that there were midget gladiators in the new Spartacus House of Asher, and he didn't respond. And you know how much he likes midgets.
I mean, you put out the LP signal. That's, yeah.
Yeah,
the
and
LP
nothing.
signal.
Nothing.
You don't understand comics. If you just mention little people doing things, it gets him
He just
giggly.
starts. He giggles like a schoolgirl just at the
It
thought
sounds
of
like
them.
Tom. Tom has like this weird thing.
No,
with
Tom gets horny.
Yeah. Tom gets horny.
I've never understood that, but whatever.
Well, he dated one, and he's
I've
very
never-
proud of that.
I mean, if do you get a merit badge? Is it like the Wee Below badge?
Maybe he just wants to catch them all.
So many comments
knows?
I'm not going to make.
I
Yeah.
noticed. I like it because my Wee Below joke got you, and you were trying to restrain the laugh, and I got it. That's good.
But we got a ton of big stuff
We
this
certainly
week.
do.
We got the Hegseth double tap story. We've got the pipe bomber got arrested. We've got
And
EU
oh,
and
yeah.
X.
Pipe
You mean
bombers?
this is MAGA country pipe bomber?
Yeah, that's what they're going with.
Which is ridiculous, but yeah, go for it. Well, we can.
And
break
then, of
it.
course, we've got the Somalian fraud.
Ooh,
Plus
yeah.
a whole bunch of little side stories, and a new segment I'm thinking of doing. I got just 4 clips of leftist women just going on rants about racism or being racist and other things. So we'll do a 4-clip segment of the insufferable Olympics and see who wins.
Does
tonight.
anyone give a shit about racism anymore at this point? I mean,
Yeah, just leftist women
just leftist women.
and the effeminate
The
men
rest
they
of
love.
society has moved on, basically, at this point.
Yep. So I don't know. Where do you guys want to start?
I want to start with Tim Pool's compound getting shot at. So
Yeah, we can go over that.
that's kind of I'm not gonna say surprising because he's had shit happen before, but yeah, I cracked open YouTube and I saw a video from the quartering talking about it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So yeah, apparently it was People Magazine did a write up online about it. So yeah, that's
I didn't see that it had gotten into the more mainstream news. All I saw was Twitter stuff on it. Well, he's been swatted, 15 times in the last 2 years?
Yeah, he's been swatted
He's
quite a
even
bit.
moved from his original place to get back into some anonymity, and apparently that did not work.
No.
So don't know if he'll be moving again. That's up in your neck of the woods, isn't it, Chad?
Yep, it's about 30, 40 minutes.
Where were you a couple nights ago, Chad?
You mean, wasn't that while we were doing our show, deep diving on Stranger Things? Because it was Friday night, wasn't it?
I think it was actually Thursday night.
The thing that's kind of like
Then I was
weird
watching
about it.
Falcom Hall being very
Welcome Hall
disappointed.
at the theater.
Yeah.
You see that. The thing that's kind of weird about it has been the reaction. I mean, we kind of expect the left to go, oh, this is bullshit. But apparently the right now is jumping on the bandwagon and basically trying to say that he's making shit up. And never mind the fact that there's actually police reports and shit that have been filed.
Yeah, I mean, making things up. I mean, the guy's got a whole security team because he's had his life threatened so many times. And because he's been swatted so many times.
Yeah.
I don't get that one. Why would you make up that somebody opened fire on the house?
You know how people are, man, these days. It's shit's getting bizarre on so many levels.
Indeed.
We have
let me see if I can figure out.
Trying to fucking say that Turning Point offed Charlie Kirk, which is fucking insane. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, between Candace being a psychopath, Fuentes on the rise, and then now we've got Milo Yiannopoulos coming back into the picture. He's been making the rounds on everybody's shows.
Trying to come back, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was on with Tucker and he was on with Tim. Actually, he was on with Tim, I think, the night that the drive-by happened. But yeah, it would have been
Benny
Thursday night.
Johnson was in the neighborhood, I'm pretty sure he might have been the one doing that. Because he's been vocally insinuating many things regarding Benny. The last, like...
Who, Tim has?
No, Milo.
Or Milo.
Milo.
Yeah, well, Milo's been insinuating that basically everybody who speaks about conservative politics is gay.
I mean...
Of course, now that Milo's not gay.
Of course.
Here's the thing, though.
Right.
Gay, not gay.
It's not like there isn't a track record.
What, for Milo?
No, I mean, I don't want to put this... Allegedly, influencers like somebody whose initials start with an E has engaged in that kind of behavior very prominently and not made a very good habit of hiding it. So and that was one of the people who got called out, and I've seen it called out on many others.
Yeah, well,
Can you drop the person's name in private chat?
Oh yeah, I think Brahma knows who it is.
I know.
I think I might know, but I'm not quite sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Milo on Timcast was, even saying, well, Charlie was about to leave Erica because he's gay, It's like, really? Why are we constantly attacking Charlie and Erica Kirk after his death?
I don't know.
Why is that the
stupid?
The route that all these influencers have decided to take? Because
that's why I thought
asinine.
Here's the. I mean, I'm not going to criticize the TP USA. I think Turning Point needs to be really focusing on just nuts and bolts operations now.
Mm-hmm.
Get out the vote, doing the Scott Pressler kind of work.
Right.
I don't want to question anybody's grief for what they're doing. I think rolling out Erica Kirk is perfectly fine. I don't know
Well,
that
Erica rolled herself out.
Yeah.
Well, that's
If
here's
she
the
wasn't willing to do it, she wouldn't have done it.
I know, but I also don't think she's as effective. And this is, again, not a slight on her as a person. This is just Charlie was a generational voice,
Right.
and she's not as good as he was. And this is, again, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm knocking a widow, right? But for what Charlie Kirk was doing, he was probably the best that we've seen do it on either side of the aisle. I don't even, probably going back to, I don't even know, going back to maybe, JFK when he
Well, on the right,
mobilized
we've never had
people.
anybody like him.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things too is like, a lot of people were mentioned after he passed away. It's like, who's going to be his, not his replacement, but who's going to be the next Charlie Kirk? And it's like, well, there isn't going to be one because there's only one Charlie Kirk, right? I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter whether it's Erica, Ben Shapiro, whatever. Charlie Kirk was on his own level, right?
Nobody's going to do it the same way either way. You'll have somebody rise and give,
Well, sadly, right
maybe
now,
doing
it seems
the
like,
college campus thing, maybe doing something else. But the thing is, Charlie combined all of it because it was a religious outreach, it was a political outreach,
right?
It was also the organizational skills to bring all of these people in and get them registered to vote.
Right. He was 1 in a million, and sadly, it seems like Nick Fuentes is kind of turning into the heir apparent, unfortunately, because that dude's a fucking scumbag.
No, Fuentes is being manufactured.
I think he is being artificially propped up by the left wing media at this point.
Because here's a weird
thing.
thing.
They want him
to
be the face.
We know for a fact that they can upvote or downvote anything within the algorithm that they want on these social media sites. Why is it post Charlie Kirk that all of a sudden Nick Fuentes, persona non grata, clearly anti-Semitic, clearly hitting all the boxes for the deplatforming kind of checklist, is being allowed to just flow?
Because they
Facebook.
want him to be.
It's the obvious.
They
right?
want.
Yes.
So
they've been calling the right racist, bigots, all these, for as long as we can remember, right? Now they have somebody that if they can get in that position, it's like, see, we were right all along.
And
they would have self-fulfilling prophecy at this point.
And anybody who knows marketing, and this is what it is, it's marketing and how the human psyche works when you're being inundated with messaging. You can filter messaging so that it's being seen by, you can do it by age group, by whatever demographic cleave you want to do. This message is specifically being pushed out to the under 30 white male and female groups in a way that you wouldn't believe, and it's designed because they want to push them into the Fuentes camp, because Fuentes, in my opinion, with no evidence, I'm just saying this based on my assessment of watching his statements over the course of the several campaigns now, is behaving in a way that would be not dissimilar from someone who was a deep state plant in terms of trying to gin up people and then get them to not, look what he did last election. Don't vote for Trump.
Don't vote for Trump.
They took Charlie, who was the effective, genuine, actively good messenger who was driving real results. They took him off the board. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist who thinks the deep state was necessarily, MK.
I think he was taken off the board, and they are using that as an excuse to manufacture this rise.
But to take the words from Rahm Emanuel, you never let a crisis go to waste.
Right.
Yeah.
And these are people who are capable of using events that are, black swan events and trying to then take it and hijack it into what they want.
Right.
And I think that pushing Fuentes to try to get all these people, like I know Brahma's experiencing it within his close ties to him, where people are being inundated with this message from Fuentes.
Yeah, it's all over everybody's feeds.
And it's pushing them towards the black pill, towards being, like, whatever you want to call it. But they're not, what they're not doing? They're not voting in local school board elections. They're not getting involved on the ground level. This is the stuff Charlie Kirk was pushing.
Right.
Get involved.
What they want is white identitarianism. That's what they want. This is something that they've been pushing for. They haven't had it, so they've had to manufacture it. And so now's their opportunity to go and get the white identitarians going. And so the culture war, the race war, whatever, can kind of continue on and say, hey, look, see, conservatives were racist all along. We were right.
Well, I will.
That's what I think they're shooting for.
The white identitarianism is a natural offshoot of DEI.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're doing this, if even think about the logic you're spewing when you're putting people into DEI workshops, that everything is race based, right? Like there's a white consciousness. If you're gonna at that point you're being pushed, it's being assumed that you're in that anyway. You might as well go for it because everyone's gonna act like you do it. It's just a natural. If you start indoctrinating people that it's always about racial identity. Mm-hmm. There is eventually going to be people who move to a white identitarian racial identity, and that's not a good thing.
No, it's not.
But it's also not a good thing when people are being activated into black racial identity or Asian racial identity. Like for the United States, and this is the funny thing when people talk about the historical, they're like, we're a melting pot. Do you know what happens in a melting pot? Everything amalgamates. It doesn't keep its individual component. It melts together to make an alloy, right? That's the thought process. You combine the strongest parts
stronger.
and it becomes like you make steel from iron and other ingredients, and you heat it up and you put it under pressure and then you get steel. Steel is on its own is one thing though. That's with the United States. We used to have a national identity. We had shared stories, shared values, shared national identity.
Right.
Part of that
shared culture.
Not anymore.
We talk about where they took, why was it a big deal to pull down Confederate statues and change the names on things? Because you
can rewrite history if there's no signs of history left.
Correct. Mm-hmm. You're doing the same thing the Taliban did. You're trying to make it so that there is no historical viewpoint. There's no looking back. There's no cultural heritage, right? If you're just living in the moment, if your cultural memory is 5 years, you can change anything. Like how many people, even we have people who lived through the first Trump administration, were here for it, and are still now being programmed to think it was completely different than it was. Mm-hmm. And that was only a matter of 10 years ago.
Well, I mean, there's people actually going on TV saying that he's likely to start bombing Americans now in the country because he's been blowing up boats that are Venezuelan.
Yeah.
I mean, the Democrats will say anything at this point, and the people will believe them, and it's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where we're getting a lot of the violence that we're seeing. Because, I mean, the whole thing with Tim, it's like, there's some people that are saying that he's just, ginning it all up. But for the most part, most people are just like, oh, yeah, that happened. Mm-hmm. That's how desensitized we've gotten to it, even, just in the past few months, even after Charlie.
Yeah.
It's crazy because there's so much of it. Because we've got the other story that came out over the past few days. Nick Sorter was assaulted by anti-ICE protesters in New Orleans just for asking questions and exposing some of their tactics. Because everything going on there, they've all got the same signs. They're getting funding. We all know that. Mm-hmm. We've all known that.
Right.
But it's starting to become more known. Mm-hmm. And, got his ass beat for it. So, yeah. But again, it's just one of those things where everybody's just like, okay.
So he was just like legitimate, just asking questions, and they basically kicked his ass as a result.
Well, I can bring up the video.
Okay. Yeah, this shit, it's getting really fucking bizarre, man. I've been watching a couple of Aiden Paladin's videos lately. I found them pretty fucking interesting. I've always enjoyed her stuff, but I don't always have the opportunity to watch them. And she kind of covered like the whole left wing, right wing violence thing. Really fucking interesting video. Really interesting. I highly suggest people check that shit out.
What did she end up saying?
I mean, a lot of it is kind of shit we've already known, right? It's that right wing violence typically lands more in the past. It's because it's more of a competency thing.
Right.
Whereas the left typically probably had a higher propensity for it, but a higher failure rate or just simply abandoning it. So there.
Did she go into what gets classified as left wing versus right wing violence as well? Because the way they classify it is part of the issue with the numbers that they put out.
That is, but she broke things out differently because she kind of like showed like in the past like a lot of what really kind of she basically kind of pointed out there's a lot of data that's wrong, right? Because in like the 80s and 90s you had a lot of left-wing violence in the form of eco-terrorism and animal rights terrorism,
Weather Underground, all that kind of
stuff.
Well,
and that's 60s, 70s, right? So there's that, but it's that for the most part they've kind of been in parity for the most part up till 2025, where there's been a drastic drop in what would be considered right-wing violence and skyrocketing of left-wing. It's like I said, it's and again, this is all fucking database that she's using. The way she kind of breaks things down, she separates things out. Islamic extremism, terrorism, or violence was like its own thing. She did kind of mention a little bit about the whole things being misclassified. Anarcho-terrorism as well.
Like Islamic violence being right-wing because it's religious based?
Well, no. She basically classified it as its own thing.
Good.
So it's it's its own animal, and is like I said, I highly recommend watching the video. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. There's a lot of fucking detail that I'm simply just not able to go through because the video is so long. But it's really fascinating. So I want to say that was like one of her like videos, more recent videos. So you can probably check her playlist and check it out.
Okay. Well, here's Nick getting assaulted by a whole bunch of protesters. There is volume, but it's very, very quiet.
Gotcha. Dude needs to bring some fucking mace.
And I believe he had the same problem in Portland, didn't he?
Yeah, he got
Wasn't it Nick
his
that got
second
beat
time
up in
he got
Portland?
assaulted. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just realized that I never transitioned that over, so nobody saw it but us.
Boomer.
Let's try that again.
Okay, boomer.
I actually wasn't looking. It may have played, but
Okay, so the name of her video is "Paradox of Left-Wing Violence, Ugly and Incompetence" is the name of the video.
okay. People saying it did play. It was probably just the small version instead of the large blown-up version. But it's a short video, so
yeah. Well, I mean, it could have been a lot fucking worse. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, because the other part of this is none of these people will actually probably pay any price for it.
No.
We just keep seeing judges just be like, okay, so.
Dude, that's insane, the fact that judges keep overturning shit like that.
Yeah, we can go into that real quick, too.
Right.
So I came across at least two cases of judges just overturning things. The first one is ridiculous.
Announced that 40
and what we'll do is bring it up, watch it, and then I will tell you why the judge decided that this case should be thrown out. Nick Sortor, Sortor. Tobach. All right.
Police announced that 42-year-old Gary Omar Edwards was arrested on assault charges. It stems from a stabbing that happened on Northwest 5th Street just after 9:30 yesterday morning. Police say a person was stabbed in the shoulder area and went to the hospital with serious injuries. Edwards was arrested by the Central Bike Squad. There's no word on the stabbing victim's condition.
So here's what happened. This guy got convicted. The judge throws out the conviction for what was the reason, Comix? You want to?
Yeah. So apparently after getting stabbed, he dropped an N-bomb.
After getting stabbed.
After getting stabbed, not before, after getting stabbed.
So the judge then claimed that it was obvious self-defense because racism.
Yeah, even though it happened after the dude got fucking stabbed. And that's bullshit. That's absolute fucking bullshit. That judge needs to be recalled or something, removed, debenched, have his law degree suspended, removed, disbarred, whatever. Yeah, this is insane. Absolutely fucking insane. That judges, even though it is a jury of your peers, is basically reversing it, which I thought the only way they could do that is if it was basically a they appeal it, right? I thought it was the only way.
If a judge sets aside a verdict, the prosecutor can appeal it.
Yeah,
it's
and this is going to appeals.
But okay, so typically my understanding is that in some cases you could have a jury trial or a trial by a judge, right?
It's up to the criminal. If it's a criminal trial,
right,
the defendant would have to waive the right to a jury trial.
Mm-hmm.
To subject it to just what's called a bench trial.
That's right.
Just the judge. It's very rare that a criminal defendant ever waives the jury because you've got a 1 in 12 shot of getting a holdout and you mistrial. Whereas if you're in a bench trial, you'll never get a mistrial. The bench trial, the judge is going to make a verdict.
But the fact that a judge can overturn a jury like that, I didn't realize that's something that they could do.
Oh no, every state allows for a judge to set aside a verdict. It's very rare. It's supposed to be, as in the times of Trump, right? We're supposed to know this. It's supposed to be very rare and for extraordinary circumstances.
Right.
Generally, it's actually to basically right a wrong by the
grievous
jury,
injustice,
where if the jury upgrade, like if the prosecutor overcharged, right, like say it was a random thing and they did first degree murder, and the jury somehow buys into it because it's 1955 and it's a black dude in Mississippi and they just convict him. Then now this wouldn't happen in that state in that time, but in theory, if the judge could say this is a genuinely miscarriage of justice, I'm setting aside the verdict, this, that, and the other. This is basically the only circumstance where a prosecutor can appeal a verdict. Like if it was a jury verdict and they found him not guilty, or they found them guilty of a lesser charge, prosecutors are locked out. You don't get another bite at the apple, so to speak, from that. If
Double
it was
jeopardy.
for a jury's verdict, obviously the defense can appeal under grounds of legal analysis, new evidence, et cetera, but the prosecutors don't generally get that. This is one of the only circumstances prosecutors get to appeal, because if the judge has set aside the verdict, in this case to release the person to effectively find him not guilty now, they can appeal and say that this judge was basically, as you said, was going on a grandstand. He ignored the facts, ignored the will of the jury, and he had no legal basis or moral basis or whatever basis to set aside the jury's verdict.
And just to make sure that everybody understood, so Lindsay, it wasn't the guy saying a racial slur and then the other guy stabbed him.
Right.
The judge said that he was throwing out the case because it was self-defense. However, the guy didn't use the racial slur until after he had been stabbed.
Was stabbed. Yeah.
So guy walks up to him. Something may have happened. No, I don't know all the details, but dude gets stabbed, then says a slur, and that's the reason that he's not going to
and
jail.
it's not going to be, I'm going to kill you, and then the slur, right? I mean, that I could buy as self-defense before the attack, right?
Before, yes.
Yeah, before. Because just using, an N-bomb is not justification for violence. Any kind of racial slur is not justification for violence, all right? Because odds are that's what that person's trying to do, potentially, is trying to goad them into violence. And the person who typically swings first is usually the one in the wrong. You can basically claim assault at that point, or battery. So,
yep. So here is the other case. It is Minnesota, and this will lead us into one of our other topics.
I don't hear any sound, even with the preview on.
Oh, really?
None. There's no audio.
Figures.
I was like, why am I hearing anything? Oh, yes, I have live preview.
try it again.
Nope.
At the August trial
There we
for
go.
There we
Abdel
go.
Got
Fattah
it.
Yusuf, the jury heard evidence that he ran his home health care company, Promise Health, out of a mailbox at a Central Avenue address where multiple other home health care companies were supposedly located. Yusuf and his wife, Lil Ahmed, were charged with stealing $7.2 million of taxpayer money through Medicaid overbilling in a personal care assistant, or PCA, scam. The couple allegedly spent tens of thousands of the fraud money on luxury items for themselves. Despite the jury swiftly convicting Yusuf, Judge Sarah West last week decided they got it wrong.
It's reversing or overturning a jury's verdict.
Defense attorney Joe Tamburino, who's not affiliated with this case, reviewed the
What did you say, Comix? Sorry.
I said, of course, it's a white woman who did it.
Oh, okay.
decision and analyzed it for KARE 11 News. He says Judge West ruled that the state's case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence and that she believed the state did not rule out other reasonable inferences.
That, in fact, there could have been other reasonable theories other than guilt in this case. That's what it comes down to.
Despite the
We get the idea. I don't want to do another full 2 minutes of that video, but yeah, another judge just throwing it out after that one was specifically a full jury.
Mm-hmm.
And they were presented all the evidence. They deliberated for 4 hours. And then the judge was like, nope, you got it wrong. So
And it's under appeal. And they're gonna
that one's under appeal too. But
Yeah, that's
surprisingly
it's
Keith
just like the
Ellison
district
is-
judges and crap. I mean, they're just playing around with law the way they see fit rather than actually applying law.
Yeah. Well, and again, what this plays into is most liberals have a tend towards outgroup bias, right? Which means that they prefer the outgroup, which is the reason why the left loves immigrants and immigration and what we're kind of seeing here, whereas people towards the middle and the right have an in-group bias. They prefer people within their in-group. So that's how a lot of this is kind of playing out. Oh, these poor Somalis, they're just trying to bring, wonderful culture to America. How dare you prosecute and persecute them?
Well, maybe you haven't heard America was promised to them 3,000 years ago.
3,000 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Of course.
This is the Somali promised land.
Really?
Well-
Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I can. It makes sense why they're acting this way. Is as insane as that fucking sounds, but yeah, Jesus.
So that kind of leads us directly into the Minnesota Somalian fraud stuff. So rather than us explaining it, I'll let the great Senator Kennedy explain it because I like listening to him explain it much better. So give me just a second on the volume.
This one makes
Here we
me
go.
want to throw up in a potted plant. Makes me want to stick my head in an oven. So they started going to parents in the Somali community and saying, can we call your child autistic? Can we certify that your child is autistic? If you'll let us do that, we'll pay you a bribe. Anywhere from $400 to $1,500 a child. It's deeply disgusting. I mean, it is clown world on steroids. It makes me want to knee someone in the groin. But the politicians in Minnesota let this happen. It is disgusting, Mr. President. These people ought to all be put in jail, including the politicians. To the powers that be, pretty please, with sugar on top. I'll add a cherry. I've even got an old McDonald's McRibs coupon somewhere. I'll throw that in the mix too.
Man's got a way with words.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, they're basically they were defrauding Medicare by having all these people claim that their kids were autistic, right as Minnesota had changed some laws to where, you know, that could be Medicare or Medicaid paid for. And they just started creating all of these foundations and getting all of these families to say that their kids were autistic when they weren't, and then giving them kickbacks and pocketing, what is it now, about $1 billion is what they've said. That
I believe they're
was
up to
fraud.
now. They think it might be like up to $6 billion.
Really? $6 billion? Holy shit!
Like in order, it's not just one. Like they're now kind of amalgamating all of the Somali welfare frauds.
Yeah,
And-
because Miller was like, I think we've only scratched the surface of what they were doing.
Wow.
So there's this program they were defrauding. There's the food stamps one that they
SNAP, yeah.
That one was 500 million. So when you start adding up all the different programs, they're conservatively at around like $6 billion in fraud over the last 5 years by Somali aligned or owned groups of the state of Minnesota. Basically, it corresponds exactly when Walz got in office and started loosening up everything.
How long
Yep,
has he been
and-
governor?
And changing the flag to look like the flag of Somalia.
The state flag?
Yeah, he changed it
Yeah.
so it now looks like the Somali country flag.
That's
Basically, is Somalia at this point.
yeah. I mean, they're only 15% of the population, but yeah, we all know how that goes.
Yep. Eric K for $1 over on Rumble. You know how many of the richest Muslim countries in the world takes in? 0. That is right, 0. They do not want them screwing up the country they live in. Correct. And we've got, so, I mean, yeah, this led to Trump calling Walz a retard.
Oh my God, you're right. They did make it very similar.
What's that?
The Somali flag.
Oh, the
and
flag?
Minnesota flag, yeah.
I'm gonna, yeah, here we go. I've got to, let me load, I'll share. Because I can do that.
Do you have what the flag was before as well?
No, because I don't know that that's really, it's a standard state flag with a seal. So
Yeah.
here's what I'm going to play the game is which one is Somalia and which one is Minnesota. Because it's hard to tell, right?
I wouldn't know the Somalia flag if either
So
way.
the Somalia flag is the one on the bottom. So it's basically one green stripe away. A couple stripes, I guess, the white stripe too. But the star symbol, look, I mean, the shape of the,
Well, I thought, okay, everything I'm pulling up as a Somali flag is basically a white star on a blue background, which is pretty fucking similar to that.
No, there's well as I'm pulling up is that this is the Jubilant State of Somalia flag is the
Okay.
is the other one. I guess I think that Somalia being a failed state, it probably has 4 different versions of their flag. I'm sure this is the one that Elon Omar's brother says is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Just like she is in the bedroom to him.
Indeed.
You know.
To him.
But
Well, no, now that she's living in the US, she's married a white dude.
Yeah.
And she's now funneling campaign money into his pocket.
To the tune of hundreds of millions.
Yep.
yeah,
Well,
so the
not
old,
hundreds of millions, but millions to him.
all right, let me share the old state flag that they have. Oh wait, hang on a second. cancel that. Wrong browser.
Looks like you got a super chat there, bro.
Yep. Mod Eric K for another $1. Deeple 101. If you live in Minnesota, $79,000 per taxpayer before they updated the fraud number. Who knows what that is now? Yeah, I mean, this is all people's tax money going to this.
Okay.
Where? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So that right there, this one right here on the, I mean, technically it's on the left and right, but yeah, this is the old flag. And as we've seen, basically what the new flag looks like is that. Actually, let me go back because there you can actually see it. That's fucking ridiculous, man. Yeah, they really are trying to cater to the Somali for some reason. But yeah, whatever.
And it's a much more bland design for a flag. It's just the modern dumbing down of things again.
Yeah, it kind of is, man.
You could even say the retardation of it.
Yes, the retardation.
Which gets us to Tim Walz.
Speaking of retards, yeah.
Yeah, super upset about being called a retard by Trump. So
are
is
you
his
okay
daughter.
with the president calling our neighbors garbage? Are you okay with him referring to Minnesota as a hellhole, unfactually untrue? This creates danger. And I'll tell you what, in my time on this, I'd never seen this before. People driving by my house and using the R word in front of people. This is shameful. And I have yet to see
oh my God, the R word.
A Republican elected official say, you're right, that's shameful. He should not say it. So look, I'm worried. We know how these things
Nobody
go.
fucking cares
They start
about
with taunts,
retard.
they turn to violence. So deeply concerned.
Right, but that's the key part right there. They're trying to pull the, you know, you
Words
started
of
with the
violence.
word retard, and we know that's going to incite violence. It's like, are you guys
It's
serious?
not.
You're
Start
really
with
going
taunts,
there?
They turn to violence. So
Taunts
deeply
turn to
concerned.
violence.
Taunts turn to violence if they're actually, the end goal is violence. Okay. Let's be honest here. It's like what we said. Somebody who wants to start a fight taunts another person because, like I said, legally, it's the person who swings first. It's basically their fault. The other person can claim self-defense. So don't let yourself get goaded into a fight, dumbass. Yeah, it's just calling somebody retard doesn't mean it's automatically going to escalate to violence. That is retarded.
I don't think he's trying to go there. I think he's trying to say the same thing from the left that we have been saying.
Words of violence.
If you keep calling us Nazis and fascists, somebody's going to act on it. I think that's what he's trying to morally equivalent.
Well, to a degree.
Is he trying to say that if we keep saying it, that somebody will do an IQ test
that it's
of
inciting
Minnesota,
violence? Yes.
And then we'll discover
this
that
is
they
words of
are
violence
below
bullshit.
the Forrest Gump line?
This is the words of
They are
violence
before.
bullshit. Fucking,
Yeah.
I hate this timeline. I really do.
Me too.
I want to go back to the 90s where it was nicer. Maybe the early 2000s because I had broadband.
So we've also, just to kind of tie into this whole Somalian refugee thing, we do have Ilhan talking about or talking to Somalis about Somalia. So let me bring that one up real quick and we'll take a peek. Unfortunately, we have to hear her. Yeah. I think this was 2024, maybe, or it may have been earlier this year, but it's very loud and I don't like to hear her all that much. So since Mad's not here, I guess I'll read it. We are people who will never allow, well, let's mute her then. Just for effect, she's not speaking English.
Nope.
I congratulate Somalian Americans and other Somalis across the globe for showing a remarkable level of unity against Ethiopia and Somaliland. The way you rallied behind our president, Somalian president, nope, that one skipped quick, as over 45% of Somalia's population are not even ethnic. Somalia is one nation, and our nation cannot be divided. Basically, Somalians are for Somalia.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and she still refers to her president being the Somali president and that her country is Somalia. I'm trying to remember who was talking about this, but it's like, okay, they need to bring back that fucking rule that if you immigrate to this country, you need to be in this country for 14 years before you can run for office. They need to bring that shit back.
And we need to figure out a way to just denationalize them and deport them.
Yeah. Yeah, this bitch needs to go. Hands down. She doesn't give a shit about this country. It's very clear. It's very evident in the thing she says, which makes me wonder, can they use sedition against her at this point?
I don't know. Chad, that would be more your
It's not treason. What she's doing is sedition.
You're probably not going to get into that. What you could get into, if you really wanted to go after Ilhan Omar, is the citizenship fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because and go after. I mean, you get Al Capone on tax evasion. You don't get him on,
that ties to this current fraud, because there seem to be some possible ties there with the fraud that's been going on. Ties to Ilhan Omar and Waltz.
I think
there's definitely donors that are tied to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say the better route to go, and this is kind of maybe it appears kind of what they're doing now, is you shut down the protected status for anybody from Somalia, which they've done. They now start the process of looking into the fraud. They start reviewing every single person who was brought over and start like if they're on whatever permanent resident status, you don't renew it and you evict them. Like you can start doing like you can't necessarily, like she's moved all the way to being a citizen, so that makes it harder. You'd have to go to her defrauding the citizenship process to try to revoke it. But she's also got more protections as she's now a full legal citizen. So you thin the numbers by going after the people who are lawful permanent residents who maybe are engaging in the fraud. You start unraveling the I guess the thread of the sweater to see how much you can get by doing it. In the end, you're going to be able to get a lot of numbers just that way, because there's still a lot of people who are in that legal permanent resident status who haven't, like, they don't bother. I shouldn't, by and large, a lot of them don't bother going full citizen. They keep that, they just get their what's called colloquially a green card, the legal permanent resident card, because you get pretty much all the rights at that point without having to be a full citizen.
Refugee status, yeah.
But it also means that they can maintain their Somali passport and a lot of other things that they prefer. So
Eric actually makes a pretty good point here with the $1. Remember the two Dems that voted against giving illegals free healthcare and money that were killed?
Yeah.
That was the assassination earlier this year.
Mm-hmm. That they try and blame on the right.
That they're trying to pin on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with a lot of other crazy coincidences with that whole thing, and it seems to have disappeared from the story. It's amazing how many of these stories just disappear.
Yeah.
When you think, I mean, I have no, how do I put this rightly? I have no inability to find updates on the Blake Lively lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, right? It's everywhere. But I can't for the life of me get any updates on any of these massive legal matters involving, fraud by Somalis or assassinations of Minnesota politicians that were linked to Tim Walz.
Because they got it out there that it was somebody on the right who did it, so that's where they're going to leave it. They're not going to actually give you updates on it because they want the narrative to stick out there. I mean, there was a stat going around on Twitter. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, since the Kimmel thing, there's still something like 25% of Kimmel viewers that believe that Charlie Kirk's shooter was of the right.
Yeah.
Like you cannot convince them of anything else.
Well, and the other thing too with Josh Shapiro, they're trying to blame that one on the right as well, even though it was a pro-Palestine protester that burned his house.
Yes, because there's so many on the right that have been pro-Palestine.
Right. Totally.
Yep. And yes, Southern Belle, I did see Tim Walsdaughter going off about how many bots are on her Instagram account now ever since the retard thing happened, you know, going into her comments and saying stuff about her dad being a retard.
He's a retard.
She's attributing all of that to bots. Not that a whole bunch of us think that it's hilarious.
Not that she's being trolled.
A retard like Tim Waltz is a retard and saying it to him. So
this reminds me a lot of the that South Park episode on the redefinition of
the F-bomb, the other one,
F word. And they're like, are you talking about gay? No, we'd never say that about gay people. Do we say that about assholes who have no respect?
We're talking about pretentious assholes.
I just love how they call it the R word slur. It's like, it's not a fucking slur. It's not like dropping an N-bomb. I mean, but they're trying to make it on the same equivalent level, which is stupid.
As far as I know, it's still technically a diagnostic term.
It is, yeah, it is actually
it has a definition
term. Yeah.
To slow development.
Yeah.
To retard something.
Yeah.
So
retarded
I would never use that word towards someone who's developmentally challenged. I would use it towards Tim Walz.
Yes. Exactly.
But isn't that doing the same thing?
No, because I don't think that he is. I think he's choosing to be retarded.
Yeah. This one somewhat ties in. I'm sure you guys have already seen it. I'm sure lots of chat has already seen it. But since we're talking about the invasion, did you guys see Wajahit Ali giving his little performance?
No, I did not.
You haven't seen this? Mm-mm. Oh, you'll love this. Let me get the volume back to normal levels.
You have lost. You lost. The mistake that you made is you let us in the first place. See, that's the thing with brown people. And I'm going to say this as a brown person. There's a lot of us. Like a lot. There's like 1.2 billion in India. There's more than 200 million in Pakistan. There's like 170 million in Bangladesh. Those are just the people there. I'm even talking about the folks who are expats or immigrants. There's a bunch of us. And we breed. We're a breeding people. And the problem is you let us in 1965. There were a few of us beforehand. But once you let one of us in, you know what happens with brown folks? Our grandmother comes, our grandfather comes, our uncle comes, our aunt comes, our cousin comes, our second cousin comes, our third cousin comes. Then we have kids, a bunch of kids. And then guess what? Some white women, the Western civilization women, the pure women, the American women, quote unquote, the Rust Belt women, the real women, they like some of us brown folks. We don't take them. They come to us. So we're embedded. We are everywhere. We are everywhere. I've traveled this country. I'm going to speak as a brown person. Brown people are everywhere. There will be a Patel motel or there will be a Desi restaurant everywhere. I want you to realize this. You have lost. Your story is a shitty story filled with misery. It's filled with bland chicken. It's filled with terrible, terrible dry ass meat. Your music sucks. All your culture sucks.
Can we pause it for a second?
Nobody. That's why the kids like listen to black people.
It's almost
why
over.
the fuck did you come here?
Yeah.
Because it's an invasion.
I know. Mm-hmm. And here's the historic white pill, right? To get back to why this isn't as big a problem. Logistically speaking, India had the numbers when a couple boats from England showed up and fucking took over your country. With no, didn't seem to, yeah. China has the numbers. Japan whooped their ass historically.
Yeah.
So many, and Korea. There's a reason Korea was never part of China either. Or Mongolia, which they built a fucking wall that you can see from space because a tiny, horse riding people was kicking their ass so historically strong that they had to be like, we can't even fight them. We're just going to we're going to build a big, beautiful wall. And now Genghis Khan is represented genetically in 10% of the world's population.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that. Now, what I really need to see to be done with this is and JD Vance is strong on this, and I think Trump needs to come around on it, is we
H-1Bs.
need to fucking just tear down the visa
Yeah.
system, the H-1B. It is no mistake that every single tech company that has announced thousands in layoffs over the last 5 years, 10 years, immediately turns around and starts employing people through H-1B.
Yeah.
If I would like the final prong in making a full employed America would be blanking, like just crushing the H-1B visa system, removing it, and then putting in addition to, you know, the tariffs on, you know, goods, you put a tariff on if you outsource to any foreign nation a service, 250% tariff for them providing that service.
Yeah, need to get rid of that shit.
Yeah, so like if you want to do a call center to the Philippines or to, you know, India, congratulations, you might think you're saving money till that tariff hits when you have to pay an extra 250%, and then Trump can send us our tariff rebate money like he's been talking, which I think is a brilliant idea, because he's doing that also. It is now polling like in the 60s to 70s, the idea of a couple thousand in tariff rebates going out, and he announced it while the Supreme Court is deliberating on the validity of this, you know, the tariff thing. And John Roberts is petrified of doing things that this is the guy who jumped through the hoops to save Obamacare. If this is something that's polling that big, he's, you know, he'll probably do it. I still think it wins on the fact that if you listen to the oral arguments, that a 5-4 majority was pretty solidly on the fact that if Trump is president under an Emergency Economic Security Act, the Economic Security could declare an emergency where he cut off trade completely with a country, and that would be legal, because even the people suing said, oh yeah, that would be perfectly legal if he completely cut off trade. Why would he then not be allowed to do a medium
to make incremental steps before that?
Yeah, like you're saying that he has the ability to drop the economic nuke on them, but he doesn't have the ability as a foreign policy to start to to do tariffs leading up to it. And they were like, well, yeah, that's exactly right. Well, and the justices were like, no, that doesn't seem like it's very right at all, that we could, because if he's got the full power at the end, he should have the spectrum of it going up to it. So I think that's what it's going to be, where they're going to say that he does have and that Congress, should it be so, like Congress ceded this to them, it's not, and it's a foreign policy function. And if Congress wants to block it, they would have the ability to pass legislation to block it. And the fact that Congress has attempted to pass legislation to block tariffs against certain countries or to force them to not do it shows that they could act were the will there. So,
yeah, Crazy Cat Guy says a lot of people where I work are Indians on H-1B visas. They are, however, compensated at the going rate, so they don't earn less or more than somebody from the U.S. would. That's just as big a problem, because you're still taking a job away from somebody in the U.S. who could be doing that job, rather than giving it to an Indian person.
Well, after you get to the wonderful gifted memberships, I will address this issue from Crazy
The
Cat
lovely copied kitty gifted 5 Brahma Bowl memberships. One of those actually went to Crazy Cat Guy. Lisa got one. Castadum, Mark Daly, and Svenstead.
All right.
Okay, Chad,
so,
go.
All right, bring up the comment. All right, or I guess I could, which is...
I'm trying to find it again.
Here it is. Oh, I just clicked.
We both clicked. There.
All right.
So I'll say it's Sleeve.
So here's... Brahma, what is the Social Security tax rate?
I don't even recall.
It is 6.2% for the employee and 6.2% for the employer. The employee pays it until I think they reach around $160,000 or $170,000 in earnings, and the employer pays it in ad infinitum for all earnings. If you're here on an H-1B one, do I have to pay for Social Security withholding?
Doesn't seem like you would.
No, I do not.
Because you don't earn Social Security on an H-1B.
And I don't have to pay, and I don't have to pay Medicare, and I don't. So I, as the employer, if Comix is my employee, and he makes $90,000 a year. An H-1B1 guy is working for my organization and makes $90,000 a year. Comix actually costs me, let's do this, $90,000 times 12%, because you've got all the other taxes, an extra 10 grand. Yeah, so he'd cost me 100,000. The other guy's costing me 90. So I'm still saving.
So even though the paycheck may be the same, you're still importing cheaper labor.
It's still cheaper for me.
It's cheaper for the employer.
Exactly. I also don't believe they have to offer the same medical insurance or other things,
benefits packages
that you have to full waged employees. So you as a company, and like medical benefits aren't cheap. Like, we complain about the premiums coming out of your check as employees. Usually it's at least 50%. Sometimes it's more, depending on your employer and level of coverage that the employer is paying. So if your health insurance costs $500 a check because you have family coverage, your employer is paying usually $500 as well. So over the course of, say you have bi-weekly pay periods, right, which is $500, the employer's paying another 13 grand in their portion towards your insurance. That's why a lot of employers have started giving you what's called a total compensation statement, showing like how much you're actually costing them as an employee, so they can understand like if your salary is $90,000 on paper, that's great, but what you're actually costing the employer could be upwards of like $120,000.
Yeah.
And that's not to excuse companies, large corporations like Microsoft, on why they, this is why I think I've come around from when I was youthful and in the Ayn Rand camp of like pure capitalism works. No, it doesn't. You need to put guardrails up. You need, especially in a world economy, you need to put the guardrails up. Like American companies need to be for the benefit of the American citizen.
Well, yeah, I mean, as someone who's a libertarian, I still believe that there still needs to be some regulation. There still needs to be a government. It just doesn't need to be as big.
Just not the amount of regulation that we currently have.
See. And the dead man, I didn't get just laid off. I got laid off in, 2023. So it'll be 3 years in April. So I wouldn't say I just got laid off. It's been a hot minute.
But it's been happening.
It's been most of the time I've known you.
I mean, I've heard stories about people having to train their foreign replacement. The H-1B1 abuse goes back to the early 2000s. It was probably, I think, post-.com bubble burst was around when some Silicon Valley types realized they could fucking game the system and start like really cutting their costs by doing this kind of thing. And it's just grown exponentially since then.
It's weird. It fluctuates because a lot of people, or not a lot of people, a lot of companies I've been aware of have offshored stuff. It fucking backfires because a lot of specifically when they were offshoring to India, because I've dealt with some Indian offshores before, and they won't tell you no. They'll just say yes to everything. And these guys probably had
even
no
if they can't deliver.
Yeah, even if they can't deliver, they'll say yes.
Or don't actually have the training. Yeah. Plus, India has a nasty habit of certifying people for things without real certifications. Right. Or giving people degrees when they don't actually go through any actual schooling for what they're giving them the degree for, just to get them the jobs over here.
Yeah. And the more...
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Typically, the lower caste Indians are the ones that will be more agreeable. They'll tell you yes. Higher caste, typically, they're fine. I haven't had any problems dealing with them. But what's happening is that because of the fact that there's that competency issue, they won't tell you that they don't know anything or they don't know how to do something. It ends up blowing up in the company's face, and they end up bringing it back, which is the reason why they start going to different countries, right? Instead of going to India, they'll go to Asia or South America. And on occasion, I have to deal with SonicWall quite a bit, which is a company that makes firewalls for a client I work with. And I've typically found that they're offshore people to be pretty competent, but they're usually either going to be in South America or someplace like Singapore. But Yeah, usually when it comes to dealing with India and their lower caste, it's usually a bit of a fucking nightmare.
Before we get too far away from it, I wanted to make sure everybody knows exactly who Wajahat Ali is. He's a New York Times columnist.
Was he native born?
So it's not like there's somebody, without a voice. I mean, he's got a following, and he goes on Piers Morgan, and he does podcasts all the time too. I'm not sure what his status is. I know he's a citizen, but I'm not sure exactly whether
well, I mean,
he
the
immigrated
whole thing,
here or with his parents or was born here. That kind of stuff.
What pisses me off is the whole thing. I don't care where you're from as long as you enculturate and you become an American, right? And you become an American, right? You leave your country behind. The assimilation thing. That's the thing I'm completely fine with. But when you're like, yeah, I'm here to change your culture. I'm here to change your country. I don't care if you're basically the native population. This is going back to the whole thing we're talking about with invasion. This is something that obviously humans have done throughout, our entire existence on this planet. But we, as a society, need to be fucking smart enough to say, get the fuck out or don't come, right? And it goes back to what we talked about with they are using our rules against us, and that is a huge fucking problem.
They are using the freedom of the West to dismantle the West.
Yes. That's
I do also have a problem with the just blatant racism at the end. And I'm getting kind of tired of the blatant racism from everybody towards whites at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it almost makes you start to see how, so many people could follow Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
When it's just nonstop blatant racism out of certain groups.
Well, and again, going back to the whole thing what I was talking about with liberals having an out-group preference, more so than where others basically have an in-group preference. They basically will go and defend everybody but their own people, which is absolutely fucking insane. And that's part of the reason why we're in this position is because of that leftist mentality or that liberal mentality.
Well, and to your point on assimilation and the point we've all made multiple times on assimilation and the melting pot versus the quilt. Here's our favorite, Margaret, with Ilhan Omar once again. This one's about how, it's not the Somalis' fault that they were doing this, and expecting people to assimilate is Nazism.
Well, it's not the criminal's fault they committed a crime.
Right. But expecting people to assimilate is also Nazi talk.
Yeah. Can't hear it.
Oh, it's not doing the audio again?
No.
Yep, no audio.
Yeah, I've got a...
Assimilation is Nazi talk. Jesus Christ.
I want to ask you about something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds me, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people.
The fuck up.
In Germany.
Stephen Miller is Jewish, by the way.
Right.
As we know, there have been many immigrants who've tried to come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from Ireland, Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants. And to me, we're, yes, of course, ethnically Somali. We are in this country as Americans.
Yeah.
We are citizens. We are productive part of this nation, and we will continue to be.
Okay, so one of the things that I find very interesting is right now in Mexico, because they've had a lot of people move to Mexico from the West, I think in particular from California in the United States, that they are not happy. The native Mexicans are not happy with the invasion that's happening to their country and their culture changing as well. So
like being at restaurants and hearing everybody speaking in English rather than in Spanish in a country that Spanish is the actual language.
Yes. So this argument that this is racism is fucking bullshit. Absolute bullshit, because other countries that are not white, by the way, folks, are having the exact same issues, right? And they viewed the exact same issue is that it's being an invasion. Their culture is being changed. The flavor of their city is changing as a result of this as well. And they're not happy about it. There's all these protests that are happening in Mexico right now as a result of this.
But the thing is, white people don't have culture. So, I mean, we can't be losing a culture because we don't have one.
Yeah.
But the Mexican, they do have a culture down there in Mexico that they would like to protect. We're just not allowed to protect American culture in any way.
Yeah.
Because American culture in most people's brains equates to white culture.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all just racist.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm not going to play the clip, but just to kind of be done with Ilhan Omar for the night. She also made a TikTok or a tweet, a video tweet, where she tells her base that that they need to make the Trump administration pay a costly price.
Oh, really? What kind of costly price is she referring to?
Yeah, not great wording when they've already escalated to the price of assassination.
Mm.
So they just can't calm down any of the rhetoric. So just wanted to point that one out because that one's probably going to make the rounds this week. Her saying that the costly price thing. So, do we want to do the fun and sufferable Olympics thing before we head on over to either the pipe bomber story or Hegseth?
Sure, let's do it.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to play 4 different clips from 4 different leftist women, and then we'll all decide which one is the outright craziest. But before we do that, we're going to look at the dead man giving us $9.99. Comix was just joking. During Coof, I was laid off 2 different jobs, was just making a joke about Chad's scenario as if you were laid off from Brahma's show.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah. No, dude, it's you didn't need to
You didn't need to do that.
You didn't need to send the super chat for that. It's fine. I did see your original comment. I just didn't respond. Sorry.
All right, so the first clip we have is our favorite big booty Latina, AOC, who's very upset that Nancy Mace is introducing into law, a restriction on men and women's bathrooms. So, we'll start with her.
Again, outgroup preference.
It's disgusting, and everybody, no matter how you feel on this issue, should reject it completely. What are they doing? They're doing this so that Nancy Mace can make a buck and send a text and fundraise off an email.
You say that now until you get sexually assaulted in your own bathroom by a dude.
Of all kinds, and everybody.
Yeah, but this was the line right here.
Yeah.
So not letting men into women's spaces does this.
Protect people. They're endangering women. They're endangering girls of all kinds, and everybody should reject it. It's gross. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's such an idiot.
It's gross.
Thank you.
So keeping men out of women's spaces is now endangering girls.
Women. Yeah. Of course. That's the next logical conclusion that they can come to, right? Is that if you don't let the penis into your bathroom, you're endangering women. This shit never would have flown like 20 years ago with feminists. It's so funny how everything is basically done in 180 at this point.
Well, feminism has basically just become the praise of men who try to pretend to be women.
Yeah.
That's one of their key tenets now.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, what you need to do is point that out. It's like, I think feminism is great. Yeah. You've become very pro male.
Yes. I'm glad you fought for, your ability for girls to play sports and for girls to do all these things just to let men go back in and dominate it.
Yeah.
So the next clip is one of our favorites here, Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, God.
She's ranting about how white people can't use the word oppression.
Does she have her black scent back?
We'll have to see because she goes in and out of it so often.
Misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression
for the white man in this country. You
Yeah,
tell
she's got
me
it back.
which white men
Yep.
were dragged out of their
Because she's
homes.
in Congress right now.
You
Yep.
tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work.
Bitch, your ancestors sold you, okay? Fucking deal
And
with it.
when has she been dragged across an ocean or anything? What has happened to her specifically in her lifetime that has made her oppressed in any way? She's a freaking congresswoman who went to a very expensive college.
Yeah. I am so sick of this fucking slavery narrative that the left keeps wheeling out, not understanding the history of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. Is like black people were being sold way before the white man even entertained going to their continent. Okay. This shit has been going on for a very long time by their own people. And that is a huge fucking issue that constantly gets overlooked. And it's just purely, we're going to blame white man, the West for this stuff when it really is, it originated in their country, originated in the Middle East as well. You know, the Muslim countries were big,
it's originated everywhere, though, because even in America, the Indians were doing it, but apparently everything in America is the white man's fault about how the Indians were doing things.
I'm specifically talking about the transatlantic slave trade and
the
transatlantic. The very idea behind the rhetoric that they spew is so fucking inaccurate because the fact that it's like your own people were doing this to you. White people didn't just show up one day and start trapping black people. It was they showed up and this one tribe said, "Hey, would you like to buy some slaves?" I mean, that's obviously an oversimplification of the issue, but that's basically how it happened.
We just conquered this other tribe. Would you like to buy them?
Yeah, that's basically how shit happened.
Mod Eric K for $1. Alex Stein needs to go in her gym locker room with her and watch her undress and shower.
Yeah,
Alex is crazy enough. He might do it.
That might
especially right now. He's somewhat desperate right now without a contract. He's been streaming like 24 hours a day. He streamed himself sleeping 2 nights ago.
Oh my God.
He's a crazy man. Trying to get those watch hours back up on his actual channel since it's no longer the Blaze. But and Deeple for $1 over on Rumble. I cannot wait for the upcoming complaint trend on Blue Sky about how many seats are left up in women's restrooms, only to get devoured by the left for being bigots. The Schadenfreude will be glorious.
Oh, indeed. I agree, Deeple.
Yeah, that'll be hilarious when that argument starts being made, or just pee on the seats in women's restrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And Davina made a good point, and I'm trying to go back and find it. Where was it? Oh, no, I lost it. It was something about... I'll find it.
Women should not be in men's
let's keep
locker
playing
rooms?
it was something else, but let's continue the video while I look for it.
Your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here. We're not the same migrants.
Then go back if you didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to be here either.
Run away from home. We were stolen. So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like and don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed. That y'all are the ones.
Miss Crockett, would you like to make a comment about the Africans that enslaved other Africans and sold them to white people?
Yeah, there it is, the casual racism. And again, it's you white people over there. Davina's point was, we never got a refund when we got rid of all the slaves. So that's 2 of the 4 clips. We've got 2 crazy rants so far. Let's move on to another favorite, Joy Reid.
Oh God, she's still a thing.
As smart
she
as
has her own
I
podcast.
know my ass is. Ketanji Brown is smarter. Smartest person I've ever met in my life. If you smart, I'm smart. That lady is smart on a level I've never seen before. And
she's
her
so
3
smart, she's
roommates
stupid.
were even smarter.
She's smart on a level I've never seen before. And then the next line is even dumber.
before. And her 3 roommates were even smarter. These girls were so smart that we were shocked that we'd ever met anybody that intelligent. And Amy Coney Barrett, on the other hand, is a Supreme Court justice just like Ketanji, even though her qualifications are minuscule compared to Ketanji's. Maybe that's the affirmative action we've been getting. White people who are...
What do you think Don Lemon's thinking right now? Is he like, should I go make myself a sandwich?
He's probably thinking, this dude's hot.
Yeah. No, he kind of, I mean, this is something he would never say, but he really kind of has that expression of like, this bitch is dumb. Bitch, you dumb.
knows that.
Have you ever seen Meteor Man? The old like superhero movie in the 90s.
I know of it. I never watched it.
No, I haven't seen it.
It wasn't Cosby. It was, but the villain gang group was like the gold group, it was, and Don Cheadle was in it, all these guys, and they all had dyed gold hair like that. And so every time I see Joy Reid, I just always think of the bad guys from Meteor Men.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny.
Let's
It
let her
really
go.
does look like Don Lemon's like having none of it. He just is like, whatever, lady.
I'm pretty sure he joins in.
essentially
probably
mediocre in scale compared to a black person getting the
Hey,
spot
pause
because
real
they
quick.
wanted a
Isn't Don Lemon married to a white guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just, I mean,
They
not
always
that
are. Usually the ones that are the most racist are the ones that are actually married to white people.
Ilhan Omar,
Yeah.
married to a white guy. Don Lemon, married to a white guy. AOC, dating a white guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe now married. I don't know.
a conservative. Maybe the way that JD Vance got into Yale is because they were tired of just letting in white men from New York, from Choate, from all the elite schools. And
That's right. JD Vance is now a DEI
higher
entry into Yale.
Well,
they
you
wanted
remember
an
there's
Appalachian.
confession through projection and all this stuff about Vance and how did he get into Yale reminds me of how they will not for the life of God allow you to ask questions about how Obama got into Columbia. And if he sent in an application as a foreign student, which is what the rumor has been for years, that he checked off that he was a foreign student so that he could qualify for all sorts of programs.
Aid.
Yep. And get into Columbia. So,
Yeah, but it's now DEI if you're from Appalachia. If you got into
because
college.
Appalachia
Able
is like
people-
super, able to get all sorts of breaks. I live right around it. Like technically, I think the Appalachian Trail goes through where I live, and it does.
Also, if JD
Appalachia-
Vance got, well, I mean, JD Vance took a pretty weird road to get to Yale to be a DEI person from Appalachia. If you were going to even agree with her argument on the Appalachian, type being DEI, JD Vance did not take that route.
Yeah. First off, for being the world's smartest black woman, why can't she tell us what a woman is?
Ketanji? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how she's both the smartest woman that Joy Reid has ever met, but her 3 roommates are even smarter than her.
Yeah.
That math doesn't math.
No.
military veterans, people who come from Appalachia, white folks who come from Alaska and different places that they don't normally come from, indigenous people, Latinos, Asians. And the last thing I'll say about this, for all of y'all people on Fox that are going to clip this because y'all mad about affirmative action, because yes, I embrace affirmative action because I belonged at Harvard and I was smarter than all the legacies I went.
She has said before that she only was at Harvard because of affirmative action. I'm pretty sure.
That doesn't make you smart.
Right, but she's
smarter.
saying she embraces affirmative action because she got into Harvard because she knows that she was smart enough to be there.
Well, okay, so if she
like
was
then
smart
you
enough to
wouldn't
be
need
there,
affirmative action, you moron.
exactly. Yeah, it's like you.
That's the
you
whole
wouldn't have to be there.
point.
Yeah.
Went to school with, who only were there because they were rich and their parents had a name on one of the buildings and they didn't go to class and I did. So I'm just going to let y'all know.
Did she learn anything in those classes?
Probably not.
That we see affirmative action as these schools searching for people they wouldn't have ordinarily found without deliberately looking for us. They would have just let the same mediocre white men from rich families in. But instead, they let me in. And because of that, you now have the ability to attack me, right wingers. You have the ability to know who I am when I don't know who most of y'all are. But you know me because affirmative action brought me your way. Tell the Lord
wish
thank
we
you.
didn't.
Be grateful for all
That's
that God is
another
doing.
reason to
God
get
knows
rid
what God
of
is doing. She a smart
affirmative
lady.
action.
Probably black.
So there's our third rant. The last one may be the hardest to watch.
No offense, Joy Reid, but I don't think about you at all. I really don't.
Most people don't.
Yeah, we really don't care.
That's the reason she's not on TV anymore, is because most people weren't even checking out what she was saying when she was on TV. That's why she doesn't have a job anymore.
Yep. Collectively, we live in her head. You don't live in ours. It's the other way around, lady. We don't fucking care. It's fun to make fun of you when you say stupid shit like this. It's great. It's great content. But honestly, I don't think about her at all until somebody bitches her, and that's it.
Davina, she was MSNBC, I believe, before she got fired.
MSNBC.
Yeah, which is now MS Now. The rebranding is done.
Yeah.
All right, the last one, unfortunately, Jennifer
Charlie
Welch.
Kirk, Erica Kirk, all of Turning Point, all of Heritage Foundation, all of MAGA, all of these MAGA Christians, they are able to be so dismissive of any solution that could remedy anybody else being killed because they don't, in fact, value life. They value hating and owning the libs.
Pause it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get this straight. Conservatives don't value life. That's part of the reason why they're against abortion. But somehow you value life and you're for abortion. And as we've mentioned before, was it like 26% of Gen Z was aborted? And that's pretty fucking horrific. Yep. But somehow we are the ones that don't value life. And it's like, that does not compute. Does not fucking compute.
How many of us were the ones celebrating somebody being assassinated? Because this is one of the bitches that was doing it.
Yes.
And if the libs happen to be female, black, gay, trans, an immigrant, or a Jew, all the...
Wait.
Suddenly the left likes Jews?
Yeah, I was going to say, wait. I thought you guys had a problem with Jewish people now.
They're on the Palestine train, remember?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Remember,
only when it suits them.
It's not about consistency. It's only when it suits their narrative. So yes,
exactly.
I'm sure she'll be condemning Israel and the Jews in the next sentence when somebody brings up Palestine. So,
man, it's hard to look at her face.
Better to hate. You want it served for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. These people pretend like they're Christians. They pretend like they're patriots. And in fact, these people have just been unmasked. The moral collapse.
Okay. Speaking of projection and pretending to be a patriot, lady, I'm pretty sure you fucking hate this country. Most people that are leftists don't like this country. They hate it, which is the reason why they want to tear it down. It's the reason why they want to bring in communism, socialism, globalism. Yeah. It's the reason why they want to erase borders. So yeah, that's right. It's the right that pretends to love this country.
The left patriotically wants to change everything about this country.
Yeah.
The right would like to actually have a country.
Yes.
One is more patriotic than the other, I believe.
Collapse has been there all of this time. These have been the homophobes and the racists. They were just more polite.
Usual names.
The only thing that's changed with Trump is now they're less polite about their racism.
Gee, I wonder why they become less polite.
Now the mask is just completely off.
So, mask was off when Charlie Kirk got murdered and everybody celebrated on the left. Not everybody, obviously, but
we're just not allowed to actually bring up anything that we feel is a problem or a concern in this country,
right?
Because that's just automatically racism and homophobia and transphobia and Islamophobia and every other freaking phobia that they have invented over the past few years. And the only one that actually makes sense as a word is Islamophobia, because you should have a healthy fear of what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
The rest of them, it's not an irrational fear. I don't fear gays. I don't fear trans.
No.
I think they are mentally unstable. That's not the same as fearing.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Estep just became a member.
Hey, Sean.
Good to see you, Sean.
How's it going, dude?
I believe I've got a package from you up at Corey's place. I just haven't been up to Denver lately, so I haven't gotten it, but I'll let you know when I get it. So that's four crazy clips from some insufferable women on the left. Which do we think is the most unhinged out of those four tonight?
I mean, I think this
Joy Reid.
No, this new one, they're putting like she's
being
climbing
pushed everywhere.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's like, what is it, like Casey Kasem climbing up the charts?
Yep.
Moving, he's like coming in at number 1 here on America's Top 40 crazy bitches.
Well, and remember,
12
she's
weeks
also
in a row.
She also said that liberals need to watch out.
Elon Omar sends a long distance dedication to her brother, saying, "I miss you. I loved our special time together, and I hope to see you again soon."
Indeed. I miss your touch.
But remember, she's also the one that warned Democrats that if they don't get on board the progressive bandwagon, they're next.
Then they should get the same thing, Charlie.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's Charlie.
Oh no, I got it. Elon Omar dedicates "When I think of you, I touch myself" to her brother.
By the Divinals.
That's for the Divinals.
Dead Man for $4.99. Off topic, Landman was great tonight. I have already watched it. No spoilers. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Yes, we will.
Still got to watch it.
It was a pretty good episode. They're continuing with the interpersonal. So
I'll probably watch it.
I think that's going to be this whole season. Yeah. And Sean donates 5 Brahma Bowl memberships. Thank you very much, bud. They go to JB, Smokey. I know that guy. Eric K. the Mod, Small Time Republic, and Rob Altus. Sorry. Thank you very much, Sean.
Hope you're doing well, Sean.
Jeremiah Hembry says Jasmine Crockett.
I didn't get a chance to say thanks for the box you sent last previously, so thank you, sir.
Yeah, Corey said it's got something very heavy in it, so he wants me to just swing up there and pick it up. So sooner or later, I've just got to get a P.O. box. But that would involve justifying spending any money on this to my wife, which she doesn't know how much money we already spend on like EV mugs and stuff.
Chat, if you want to be able to send stuff to Brahma and sponsor his P.O. box, please super chat around $19.99 per month. So what YouTube takes 30%. So assume $19.99 divided by 70 times 100. Please super chat $28.56.
$28. I think we're already there for tonight, but yeah.
That you can be the official P.O. Box sponsor.
The official P.O. Box sponsor.
You can get naming rights just like a stadium. It'll be like the Deeple P.O. Box.
I'll even put the P.O. box in your name.
I take the Sean Estep P.O. box because he's the one that typically sends me stuff.
Yep. He is very, very giving to us.
Yes,
so let's quickly hit the Hegseth double tap story, I guess, because it's been out there the longest this week, and I think it's been solidly debunked all week by everybody else.
Everybody except the New York Times, who won't back down. Like, no, we swear. We'll get a Pulitzer for this thing.
Yeah. We've got an anonymous source who told us from inside that he ordered everybody be killed on that boat, when in reality, the mission was to destroy the boat. The first strike did not fully destroy the boat. They have actually come out since and said, the guys actually climbed back on the boat. We're trying to salvage the cocaine, and we're making radio distress calls to the rest of the narco terrorists saying, hey, come pick us up. We just got blown up. We're salvaging some of the coke.
You know what they should have done is let them come in and then hit everybody that came in.
That would have been funny too.
That would have been
you
more
might have
effective.
gotten that one. You can't do, because that one you could have been getting just a random actual fisherman who is answering a distress call and actually killed somebody who shouldn't have been.
So logistically speaking, you can 100% keep bombing the shit out of someone in this situation.
You can do it 16 times.
It violates no rules or treaties that we're a part of, because the treaty they're going to always reference is the official rules of war via the Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention has specific rules that you have to follow to get the protections of the Geneva Conventions. You have to wear a uniform. You have to work for a state actor. You have to be in a declared position where you are a uniformed service acting in a war zone. There are specific carve-outs in the Geneva Convention for people who do not wear uniforms, who blend in with civilian populations, who engage in criminal or terroristic activity that blends within the civilian populations, specifically to avoid being able to be identified within the rules of war. So if you are not protected, you don't get any of that shit. You are not on U.S. soil. You don't get any of that shit. You are in international waters. That you are effectively a fucking pirate. And we can, I think that honestly, what we should do is do some fucking letters of marque and let some assholes go down there with some speedboats from Florida. Let's release Florida Man on these Cuban
all
on
the
these
Trump
boats.
The Trump parade boats. Let's just let them all go take care of things.
Eric Prince. It'll be like
give everybody a cannon.
We'll get Sting out there and do Thunder in Paradise Part 2. And we'll go with, but it's ridiculous. So number one, it is not even illegal. Even if they did actually say, look, there's some people floating on boats, and he went there and said, I want SEALs to come up on Zodiacs, pull out their P226s and shoot them in the head. And, it would not be illegal.
But it doesn't matter. The order was not given. The order was destroy the boat. The boat wasn't destroyed. You strike again. The admiral is who made that call, and JD backed him, but also made it clear JD wasn't making that call. He defined the mission. Or not JD, Hegseth. I'm sorry, it's Hegseth.
And this is how Trump operated in administration 1, and it's how he's operating in administration 2. Just like, Trump didn't make the call to drop the Moab. One of the operators who was in charge said, we could effectively, go out there and,
we have something that can penetrate.
We can have something that can penetrate it. That's not a nuke, and it's not a bunker buster. It's actually, and we, what? And some of the people are like, we should do this just to show that we've got it and it works.
Show of force. Yeah.
And, it's like, what was the line in Iron Man? Sometimes the best weapons is the ones you only got to use once, right?
Yep.
So in this case, they defer to the operational command. They give a specific
got JAGs
order,
everywhere,
which is we want to eliminate the narco terrorists. These are opportunistic targets coming into international waters, trying to bring effectively invasion, aged males, narcotics that kill American citizens. By any definition, it is criminal and terroristic activity being waged against the American people.
But the Democrats are so in love with criminals. As long as they will back up anybody against Trump. It's crazy. Deadman does say for $1.99, even Eye Patch McCain said it was okay. Speaking of Alex Stein, the best nickname ever given.
Eye Patch McCain was like, yes, on some mission, at no point on a mission when, did we shoot some guy and stop and be like, well, I guess we shouldn't finish it. We were there to eliminate threats, and you eliminate the threat.
You eliminate it. Yes.
Yeah. And I think there's the right has the right point, which is it was most likely because the boat wasn't completely sunk. They could see that through their drone footage that was monitoring the situation.
That's the stated reason.
Yeah,
I mean, they said it was not destroyed.
Yeah, so the
mission was to destroy.
They're swimming back to the the boat that is salvageable at this point. They still probably have drug cargo on the boat. You drop another bomb,
and they made radio calls for aid from their buddies.
Now, what I would have done, and this is probably violating some rules of war, if you really want to get into it, because this is the way I also play in Battlefield. You wait till the person's trying to revive their friend, and then you shoot them both.
Well, that's what Comix was saying, and I was saying there is a chance that a civilian boat could have answered the distress call.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't
Makes
play
sense.
that game. Well, here is Democrat Seth Moulton giving his opinion on this. I alluded to this earlier, but we'll go ahead and play it now.
I mean, look, the President of the United States and his Secretary of Defense are conducting murder on the high seas. They're committing murder, and Americans should care. Like, look, none of
That
us
sounds like an
drug
awesome
traffickers.
band name, by the way. Murder on the High Seas.
Murder on the High Seas, and America should care.
Yeah. Either that or an album title. Like, that could totally be like a Metallica album, Murder on the High Seas. Yeah. Go for it. Again, letters
But
of
we
marque,
have-
man. Let's Jack Sparrow these assholes. Let's get them out there like they're pirate. Let's have some fun. And then what is it? When you're a letter of marque, you get to keep like 30% of the spoils, or is it 70-30 where you keep 70 and
Loot and plunder.
Hell yeah. I mean, Venezuela.
Technically, then I think that still brings in the cocaine, which I think is what they're actually trying to stop.
Well, we can
because the
collect
loot
it
and plunder would be the.
Here's what we do:
would be the coke.
We assign like the coke a value for turning it in.
Yeah.
For us to, like, it's like a gun buyback program.
But what if you choose not to turn it in?
Well, look, if these dudes want to go full, like, Nick Rekieta with their spoils on the high seas, that's, just do it down in the Gulf of America. Just don't bring it home. You can do your Scarface boats and hose video where you're like, coated in
It's
the
okay.
white.
I kill him for fun, man.
Say hello to my little friend.
Laws that say that drug traffickers don't get summarily executed. And if it's happening off the coast.
You know who our laws apply to?
Americans.
You know who
America.
Obama droned and killed? A 16-year-old American citizen.
America.
And they had all sorts of memos saying it was perfectly fine to do that. Perfectly fine.
Figure.
Yep.
Of America
Here
with
it
people
comes,
that we
though.
don't know. Just give it time before Donald Trump starts doing this same kind of thing to people we do know right here at home. It matters if the president of the United States breaks the law.
It's not breaking the law, though.
Unhinged Democrat once again saying, well, Trump's going to start bombing Americans on American soil soon. Same thing that they say about the National Guard and everything else. Well, he's just, they're going to start arresting Americans. ICE is going to arrest Americans. The National Guard can't be used to protect federal buildings because that's using force against Americans. It's like, when has it happened ever? We had a whole presidency where none of this happened.
Well,
and they've made up this boogeyman that he's just going to do all these things that they keep imagining and coming up with. It's insane.
Well, the bullshit thing about it is that they can't call in the National Guard. They can't call in the actual military. That's the thing. That's so stupid. It's like posse comitatus, man. I mean, fucking, you know what it is. Stop lying to the American people. And these idiots need to be fucking called out for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the very media should be the ones that are calling this shit out. But obviously they don't because, it fits the narrative.
Well, it's a narrative they're inventing on the go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, as we said, everybody has kind of already covered this. It's perfectly legal. From everybody up in the State Department, everybody at the Defense Department or Department of War, there's no problem here.
Mm-hmm.
You want that added now, Chad, or is that?
Oh yeah, I want to just bring this in because you got a strong endorsement, Brahma.
Sweet.
Well, hello there.
The Gipper.
This Christmas, I found a channel worth tipping your hat to. It's called Brahma Bull. Every Sunday night, he corrals the crowd in a show he calls the Bullpen. Well, hello there.
Nice, Robbie. Thanks.
There you go. You should make that. What is on YouTube where you can have like the the video on your channel's homepage. You should just have that as your ad on that.
Yeah. Or do it as the intro video for my actual YouTube channel. Yeah.
Ronald Reagan endorses the bullpen.
It's like, hello, I'm Ronald Reagan, and for once I'm not here to talk to you about a movie I made with a monkey. I'm here to talk about Brahmable. He is not.
He doesn't have the same opinions on amnesty that I did, but
it's okay.
But it's okay because we both agree with killing commies.
Yes.
Unlike me, he remembered to duck. All right, nobody got that.
Chad needs a tricorn hat on his avatar on Sundays.
Yeah.
He'll have to get his old artist on that. Because you had an artist for the book, didn't you?
I assisted.
Or for the strip, I mean.
Yep, we worked on that stuff together. I was just obviously artists aren't as fond of being. No, I came up with the idea and did all the writing, but the artist who helped didn't. Being in the art community, you can't be as open about working on things that are conservative leaning. And
so he wanted to get no part of his name on it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, roughly. He was cool with not being at all, and like he was like, it's purely work for hire. As far as if I'm ever asked, it's just work for hire. I got paid. I did something. I never questioned what it was actually about. I was like, okay, whatever. That's cool. But yeah.
Dead Man says, "Uh-oh, Gary's live." It was so sad. A few nights ago, Gary went live really late in the night. And he finally gave me a shout out and told everybody to go watch my show on Sunday nights. And there were no mods that were awake to actually post the link to my channel. The other big story this week, the pipe bomber, we'll call them the J5th pipe bomber, because that's when the pipe bombs were actually planted, not on J6.
It's MAGA country.
Arrested.
This is your MAGA country.
This is the one that Jake Tapper called the white man that was arrested for the pipe bombing.
So the white man who was arrested is actually a black man?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, but Jake Tapper couldn't figure that one out even when we had his picture out there.
Well, have you seen the several people being booked, and what they have on there is they say white, even though they're not white? Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Anybody who's remotely able to be called white, they will.
Yeah. No, I mean it's like
white.
legit. It's like a dude that's black, like black, and they're saying he's white. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So apparently all the information that was needed to arrest this guy, they've had for the last 4 years.
Oh, shocker.
Well, 5 years at this point. And Christopher Wray's FBI did nothing. So the way they ended up catching him was going through everybody's phones who were in that area at that time, cross-referencing who pinged there. Then they looked at all the receipts that this guy had for all the purchases, because he used cash in a few places. He used credit cards in other places. They've apparently known about him for a while now, like maybe a couple months, because they have been watching him just to make sure that, like a smart FBI person might do. Mm-hmm. We think this guy planted bombs. We're going to actually pay attention to him and make sure that he's not doing anything in the meantime before we arrest him, while we're gathering evidence that he might be able to kill somebody or anybody. Toxic Man Flu coming in, gifting 5 Brahma Bowl memberships. Thank you very much, bud. Tox had a birthday Friday where he got to participate in jury duty all day.
Yeah, you got to participate in the legal system.
Yep. Those went to Da Beast, Dr. Anonymous Colleague, no idea who that is, Slenderdad, Randall Orser, and Zax. But yeah, so they pretty much have this guy dead to rights, it sounds like. They have not mentioned whether he was working with anybody else. When he was supposed to be arraigned on Friday, I did not hear anything from the arraignment. Did you yet, Chad?
No, the only thing that I heard leaked out is that he's basically confessed to doing it.
Yes, he did confess. The charging documents had a whole bunch of information in there, but we have not gotten much on motivation or anything else. It is being claimed that he was a Trump supporter because he also disagreed with the election outcome in the 2020 election. However, the part that does not make sense with that is he was buying the parts for the bombs almost a year and a half before that.
That's
so
kind of
that
weird.
is not what made him just start making bombs. And bombers are kind of a weird breed. So
Yeah, they are.
And
How
and
queer.
Cash did say that these were viable bombs. The thing is, viable means they could actually detonate. But he used kitchen timers. They were not sophisticated. He used kitchen timers, which apparently never set off the 2 pipe bombs.
That's good.
Still doesn't answer questions like, how did the canines miss this if it was viable? Because they ran the canine units by these twice, the bomb sniffing dogs, and never alerted on them. So there's still some weird questions on it, but good to see that the FBI actually went and did something under Cash and Bongino.
Yeah, it's just a shame that
this has been
5
thousands of man
years,
hours. Yeah, and they didn't have to go get any new evidence. It's
4
all
years.
been there. They just actually had to do police work, which apparently Christopher Wray was not interested in doing during the last administration. Probably because it fed into the whole narrative.
They were interested. They just did it on every grandma who was within
Right.
2
It fed into the
miles of
J6
town.
narrative, so they just left it alone and said, yeah, these people were all crazy. Talks for $2. I hope he uses his white privilege card in court. I'm sure he was booked as white.
Yeah, it probably was.
Tapper says so. But yeah, we'll be seeing quite a bit more coming out about this over the next few weeks, I would imagine, because haven't heard anything about the arraignment. The charging documents had some information in it, but not a ton that we could go on. But they might have gotten into motive and a few other things in the arraignment. So interesting. I mean, I find it interesting because this is what Bongino was all over right before he went into the FBI. This is what he had been kind of personally investigating on his radio show and everything and working on. So it's interesting that that's the first one that they go out and, like big story. Because they have made, I think they said they have made almost 25,000 arrests this year, which is like a very sharp percentage increase over what was going on the last few years. Like the FBI is actually arresting people. We're not hearing enough of it, and I still wish they would have cleared out quite a bit more of the FBI when they got in there.
Right.
But from what I've heard, they did clear out almost every field head and replace them. So in each different city where they had field office, they were clearing out the person in charge of those. Talk says he took a nap in the jury pool room. Then the murderer decided to plea deal, and I lost my chance to convict a minority for a crime. Was it actually a murder case that you were catching?
Yeah, it was. We're talking about it. So
I didn't catch that.
No,
that's
no,
crazy.
We were
that
talking
could have gone
privately.
on for a while then.
Yeah. It's
so-
pretty funny because the first time I went to I got a jury summons. It was for a capital murder case, and I did not get picked. The second one, I guess the guy cut a plea deal or something because I don't know if it was like a traffic or domestic abuse or something, but the cops showed up and the guy decided to plead out. So, it's jury duty's weird. I actually had to go back for the capital murder one. So you have like your initial round. They select like 50 people because they want to make sure that they don't pick weirdos such as myself. So I showed up for the interview. They had the defendant there with his lawyer. They ask you a bunch of questions. You had to fill out like a questionnaire. And there's funny because I was like in my 20s, I think, early 20s. Yeah. And I just would fill goofy shit out, right? And so it's like they started asking me about this stuff. I'm like, it's like I honestly had no idea that you were going to ask me about this. I was, just being a bit snarky.
Right. Well, I did that jury duty earlier this year, and it was on a domestic violence case, and pretty sure the guy was absolutely guilty. Mm-hmm. But the prosecution didn't actually present any evidence of it. So we got back there and we were like, can you convict on them actually not building any kind of case? Just because it seems likely based on the one testimony that they gave. I mean, we had one witness. Well, no, we had two witnesses. We had the woman, and then we had a cop, not even the cop that went and did the interview or went and talked to him, it was just a cop who had read the file. And it's like, you can't even send the cop to actually give a testimony on what actually was said. We watched a video that didn't have sound for probably 6 minutes out of the 10 minutes because the prosecution couldn't get the sound to work on the video. And then they were just like, well, I mean, you get the gist, right?
Did you laugh and say boomer?
I said, yeah.
Objection, boomer.
During deliberation, we were just like, did they actually tell us anything other than her, just being a she said, he said type situation? So, yeah, even though he was probably guilty, we all said not guilty because they didn't present a case.
Yeah.
And then the judge stormed in afterwards and was like, what the hell? And we were like, where was the case? I mean,
yeah.
Does there not have to be some evidence of anything for somebody to be convicted of something?
I'm sorry, your prosecutor made a very bad case.
Yeah.
Because as winning, what's the other option is not jury nullification. That's not even close to what we're talking about here. But it like any way of like just saying, yeah, we're not going to deliberate because there's not enough evidence. I mean, is there something you could do to come back with that?
I don't know, because we're not actually lawyers. We don't know the law. I mean, you could ask the questions of the judge, but the judge, I mean, she can't give you any extra information other than what you got in the. She can tell you what you can and can't discuss, or that kind of stuff. She can give the orders.
Yeah,
but she can't make you decide that what they presented was an actual, prosecutable case. I don't know. So it was just like, all right, well, they're not together anymore, so it's probably not going to happen again if it did happen.
Right.
But I still can't convict somebody without any actual case being presented.
So like legit, the judge was pissed off that you guys basically said not guilty because there was no.
Oh yeah. So it's not an unusual thing in our city that they will, the judge will ask if the jury is willing to stick around after for 5 minutes just to go over things after it's already all done.
Mm-hmm.
So we stuck around and she just came storming in and was like furious. Like, yeah. So what would it take? It's like evidence. Give us
That's
something.
how this process
anything
works. Yeah. Not gonna fucking convict somebody just because your prosecutor didn't have any fucking evidence.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you guys made the right decision.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel bad about it because if she did actually get beat up pretty good, I mean, yeah, she should have gotten some.
And again, Blackstone's
not
formulation, the whole thing with I think it's Blackstone's formulation. It's better to have 10 guilty men go free than prosecute an innocent man, or have an innocent man convicted.
And it probably did happen. I feel bad for her as the victim.
Yeah.
But that's not
how the fucking law works.
It's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Chad, you were going to tell us about U.S. attorney appointments because we seem to have a problem with Hannigan and Haba, and I'm wondering, even on the is Judge Janine on solid footing, since she's going to be the one going after the pipe bomber?
No, she was approved by.
Did she actually get approved? Okay.
Yeah. So that's fine. So, all right. So
I couldn't remember if she did.
Yeah. So
is it temporary appointments, right?
No. Yeah, she's not temporary. She actually got Senate confirmed, which is weird that the other ones haven't yet. All right.
Yeah.
So when for any zone where you're appointing the actual lead U.S. attorney in an area, it's like it's a political appointment. It goes to Senate for confirmation.
Right.
In the event that that the Senate has not confirmed a person yet, Trump can appoint an acting U.S. attorney. The acting,
and it's 120-day terms, right?
Yes, and they are up for 120 days because that should, in theory, be enough time to get an appointment through the Senate for the
when the
permanent
Senate
US
is actually
attorney.
doing its job.
Yeah. Now, due to Byzantine rules, and they're retarded to go back to the Tim Walz. If the temporary appointment runs out after 120 days, Trump doesn't get to appoint the next acting U.S. attorney for the district. The local zone, the actual federal district, the judges pick who will be the acting U.S. attorney until the permanent one is. Now they have no ability to overrule if the Senate does confirm a U.S. attorney. The reason Judge Janine came in is because, if you remember, the acting U.S. attorney for D.C. was what's his name? Now he's an advisor to the DOJ, and he's working on stuff anyway. But his name will come.
I'll remember it.
Yeah, so
I'll actually go look it up because
in the case of Habibi and Halligan, the districts are so vehemently left wing that they will not allow them to continue. So if the judges had signed off on them continuing to be the acting U.S. attorney, it would have been fine. But
Ed Martin.
Ed Martin. Eagle Ed Martin. So in this case, they didn't. They refused to do so. So that interim term is done. So Trump was trying to use a bureaucratic end around where he took them from an acting one to like a deputy. Like he was trying to use a bureaucratic chess move to do it, but the district courts are refusing to recognize that as allowable. So they are ruling now that basically any action they have taken after the 120-day appointment period is no longer valid. And what's happening in Halligan's case specifically, he already had an acting Eastern District U.S. attorney, and that one was quit because they wouldn't indict Comey. So they brought in her, and the unfortunately, because of the rules as they're set up, he doesn't get to appoint the next interim one. The courts would have to do it, and they're rejecting it. It's stupid. It's the same thing like the blue slip system in the Senate for district judges, where the senators of the states that they would be appointed in are basically in charge of choosing who the district judges would be, which is how you see headlines like Trump appointed judge overrules against him, and it's in Portland. It's because it was the Washington state senators who got to select district judges, where the president actually
Oregon.
Oregon, Washington, whatever. They're all stupid.
It's the same thing nowadays.
Along
with California.
Where the president really only cares about appellate court level, because that's where actual policy gets made in the federal courts, is the federal appeals courts and then the Supreme Court. So that's where the president will actually make choices that they want for themselves. it's one of the most ridiculous things. The president could appeal and challenge this up on the grounds that he is the executive and the judicial system should not be in charge of him appointing deputies to act in his executive capacity. I don't know if they're going to bother doing that. We've already seen that now a grand jury rejected re-indicting Big Tish James out of New York because they went to Norfolk, which is one of the urban and democratic strongholds in the state of Virginia, because that's where the house was purchased, was down there in Virginia Beach. So it's out of Norfolk, Virginia.
Right.
And it became politicized. Obviously, as you saw in the election results, Virginia is, in the urban zones especially, is very democratic. I don't know that they're gonna. I don't know that it's worth expending the political capital, right? And yes, it would be good to, like, Comey should be a scalp we try to get, but at the same time, we really.
But they're trying to throw away. They're trying to say they can't use some of the evidence that was collected in the Comey thing. Since they've thrown out the indictment.
Yeah, but they can re-indict. Yeah, they can re-indict. They've been
but
trying
they're
to
also
do that.
trying to bar some of that evidence now.
The problem for that,
specifically the text messages between him and the reporter friend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they're gonna. I don't know that they're gonna. I don't know that they'd be in that. They're not going to necessarily be successful in that, because if they bar that kind of evidence, it's setting precedent in the Eastern District of New York and not Eastern District of Virginia, and they do so many national security cases out of there. The judges are not, because I mean they're deep state and they love being able to get text messages. They love getting all that stuff. They're not going to want to bar that. So I think they're going to, like they're doing, that you don't need to worry about barring the evidence if you just keep throwing out the indictment for all these other things, right? It's just like election interference election cases in 2020 when they're like, oh, Trump lost every case he was going to do. Well, no, they on technicality kept throwing out the case. They kept saying it was either that he was too late to make the challenge, or he was making the challenge too early, that he had no standing to make a challenge.
Right.
They never actually ruled on evidence. They always ruled on, just standing was effectively what they kept saying, that he didn't have standing.
Yeah, you don't have standing
to challenge any election results.
Stupid.
Yeah. If there's one person who has standing to challenge an election result, it's the person.
You would think it would be one of the candidates.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If not every person who voted for him, because we all believe that our vote was invalidated. Quick question for you on the Comey thing, then, because I haven't actually looked into this part of it. How close are we to the statute of limitations on his stuff? Are they just trying to run out the clock?
No, because they got the initial indictment within the statute. They have, I think it's 6 months to 8 months after to refile if it was thrown out for any kind of, like this case where it was thrown out on the appointment grounds.
Okay.
So
Kite wants to know, what exactly is standing? Standing is basically that it has to cause you direct harm. You have to have a reason to be able to bring the case. Chad, you may have a better definition. That's just kind of
standing is the legal right.
You have to show some harm of some kind, right?
Well, it's not just showing damages, right? It's that you can in theory be damaged by something, but are you a party? I should say party is in legal. Party is a legal
party
term
to
of art.
it, yes.
Are you a party to the action, and are the damages proximately caused directly by the action that took place? Like, are you directly damaged by it? Do you have so therefore you have standing? In the that's why it was so important to find people who were the right like test cases. Whenever you're trying to appeal something all the way up to the Supreme Court, you have to have standing. Like, as an example, the Colorado baker, right?
Mm-hmm.
He directly had standing because the Human Rights Council of whatever it is in Colorado fined him like $750,000 for not baking that cake. He had a direct financial and regulatory damage from the action they took, so he had clear standing to challenge it. So standing is you are a party who has been directly harmed, and the courts have the ability to create a remedy. So so it's,
I mean, think about like class action lawsuits and
yeah, but
anybody
the
who is
remedy,
affected then technically has standing. That's why they create the class.
Now the remedy part's also important when they're doing this, because like when the Trump people came in, they said you don't have standing because the election's already happened and we can't really do anything at this point.
Even though there were cases
like-
brought before the election, and Trump's team was told, well, you can't demonstrate anything's been done yet. There is no harm yet. So we're going to dismiss these cases as well. Bring him back to us when the election happens, if something happens. And then he was told he didn't have standing in any of the cases. So it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chad, I interrupted you.
No, that was 100% the truth. Like they were told they didn't have standing because it was too early in the process, so they hadn't been harmed, right? So the judges would say you have not been actually harmed, you have no damages, you can't challenge it yet. You're just talking theoretical. It's just in theory. And then
but it wasn't just in theory, because states were changing their election laws due to COVID against their state constitutions and doing it to where it just broadened everything and let people do the mail-in ballots, all that kind of stuff. They were just changing election law that could not be changed. And when it was challenged, it was like the courts just said, sorry, they can do that. We're not even going to look at it. Those were the kinds of cases that were being brought before the election.
Yep. So it was a ridiculous Byzantine structure designed
freest and fairest election in history.
Designed to keep you from doing that stuff. Now you can argue whether it's good for the country as a whole to expand standing, because one of the reasons the courts have a very stringent view of standing to allow lawsuits or to even take place is because they don't want people to use the judicial system for, just for like going
frivolous
after
lawsuits.
For frivolous lawsuits that make things bad for everybody. Like, oh, I stubbed my toe in your restaurant, I'm suing you.
Right.
Like they would throw that out on frivolity by saying, you're not, there's no actual damages, get the F out. Like, you don't have standing to bring a suit. I'm really
we need
dumbing
tort
that
reform,
down,
but yeah.
But so the judicial system has an incentive to maintain a high bar for standing. The problem is there was clear standing to allow, for all those cases. Now, as an example of where sometimes the court is going in our direction to like away from the stupidity of the U.S. attorneys thing. Honestly, the real remedy for Trump is to appoint like permanent U.S. attorneys, get Thune to get off his fucking ass,
get Senate to actually do their friggin' jobs,
and to do it, and to get rid of the fucking blue slip shit. Like the idea that these guys get to decide who the U.S. attorneys are and who the district court judges are is ridiculous. Like, why are Mark Warner and Tim Kaine telling Trump who his U.S. attorney should be?
That's you would think if it would revert to anybody, it would just be to the DOJ. I mean, that's
the thing. Pam Bondi could bring these cases. Now, the reason they wanted to do the Eastern District of Virginia versus DC, where you could also make a case, you could also say it took place in DC. They used James Comey's like residence as the source, so they could do it in Virginia instead of DC. Is because a DC jury was guaranteed to nullify and not ever, find him guilty. And the judges in the DC, like the DC district judges, are worse. They did a little bit of forum shopping to try to give themselves the best possible chance at a conviction. And
Night People will get your memes later when we're closing out.
See you, Devil.
Yeah. So if Bondi had shown up, like she could have, like the attorney general can function within any federal district Like they could go and be the attorney of record, for presenting something.
Sure.
But Bondi didn't do that. And she shouldn't have had to. Like, I mean, they should.
That's probably why she didn't.
And here's the thing:
just being
in
ineffective.
every previous administration, I'd never heard of a circumstance where the district judges actually didn't just rubber stamp the continuing appointment of an acting U.S. attorney. It's a rubber stamp. Like they take a vote.
The TDS is strong.
Yeah, they take a vote and say, and they just vote and say, okay, she's fine or he's fine. They can continue being the interim U.S. attorney until the final one is appointed.
But what seems crazy about this specific situation is anything that, like, what is her name? Halligan? Is that
Lindsay Halligan? I think
Halligan, right?
Or Harry.
So anything that Halligan is working on and bringing is just
because
not going to be able to be brought during this time period. There's just no criminality happening right now. No cases. I mean, it seems insane.
She was the acting U.S. attorney, but they can still now function things underneath her. Like the other U.S. attorneys can still function. It's
right,
it's
but in her area, I mean, I guess I'm not following you on that. If the case that she's bringing is being thrown out, then wouldn't every case that her office is bringing be thrown out?
If they can,
because you've now set the precedent of that, right?
Well, she was the one who brought she was the judge not judge. She was the attorney.
She was the charging attorney.
She was the charging attorney. So that's why they threw it out.
So even though she's the acting, well, yeah, the whole thing's a freaking mess.
So if anything,
because she now can't do her job at all, apparently.
Anything where she is the one who's doing, yes. So she's iced out.
She can't do anything.
Now they can, like I said, I think they should probably appeal this one because they need to just throw out
Kitty,
the ability
we feel the same
of the judges to be able to do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to interfere on the executive, because it all stems from the executive power. It's weird that the judges are the ones who will now get to determine who it is. Now they're going to stand on the grounds that they don't interfere when it's someone who's actually Senate confirmed, and I don't like it, but it's a thing where until the executive and the judicial fight it through, they're not going to do it. Now, is it worth expending the capital to fight this fight when you've got bigger things to deal with?
No, it'd be worth kicking Thune in the ass and telling him to get his job done.
But you need Thune to do like 18 other things that are high priority. Like, you only have so much political capital in the real world. Like, it's not an imperial system. So what are you going to use? The deep state clearly is rallying around protecting Comey and all.
It's hard to start throwing people in jail like we would like them to, or at least
we
prosecute things if you can't. You're a year in and you can't even get.
What did
US
I tell you
appointed
from the beginning? There was never going to be anyone actually prosecuted, and you need to leave that alone. Unfortunately, it's just not something that they were going to handle. It's all out of DC. They're not going to deal with it. They'll find all sorts of crazy shenanigans to throw things out. You got to work in the real world. Your priorities have to be bigger picture than trying to get James Comey. Like what we can do and what we would find judicial support for in the Supreme Court, at least, is firing the people. We should just be firing them. Like, you're not going to win when you try to actually take them to court and prosecute them in this environment. And that's where you have to be a realist about what you're expending your political capital to do. It'd be great. Yes.
I still think you got to take a few scalps.
But
you got to claim a few scalps.
You do it by firing people. You get them out of the government. You take away their security clearances so they can't work anymore and get cushy jobs. You basically attack their ability to earn income. That sends a message too. It sends a much bigger message that we will fuck your money flow forever.
Yeah, but it didn't. It doesn't, I mean, because like, look at Brennan. Brennan just goes and gets a cushy, well-paid job over on CNN or MSNBC.
He is not making as much as he was making by being a high clearanced consultant for businesses anywhere. What he's getting at CNN, he's still being impacted by it. Again, be real world, Brahma. You can't. We're not in a spot where we can do this. You have to adjust to it. Maybe by the 2 administrations further in, if we maintain power and can do, you've got to deliver first on your other priorities, which are remaking and reshaping, the American economy, so that you can maintain the electoral wins for the presidency going forward. That's how you do it. And then you can start, because they've burrowed into too many institutions for too long to make it easy. So you firing people is how you do it.
That ain't working. That's the way you do
it. That's the way you do it.
You play your guitar on the MTV.
Look at that.
It's funny that we all thought about that.
Yeah. Look at that little F word go.
Money.
Yep.
Money for now. But
songs you don't hear on the radio anymore.
Oh God, yeah.
Or at least that you get a new edit of
they
it.
bleep it.
Yeah.
Or
they refuse to sing it too, I think.
Did they? Do they refuse to sing it?
That's that lyric, yeah.
Yeah, so
pussies.
So this is that's the stuff you focus on. You do the stuff you can do, because otherwise you're wasting your time. Like I was very vocal in what I thought about what the FBI should have been doing with Patel and Bonji, and it's clear it's firing everyone, because that's what they had the ability to. No one can interfere with doing that, because they'll file their grievance in court. It'll get overturned because the courts have been very clear, and you've seen it too. Every time one of these people challenges their termination, a district court might side with them initially, but as soon as it goes to an appeals court, even in the very liberal districts, they're saying, no, the president gets to fire people. Sorry, you're out. And then you've got immigration judges. Like the Trump administration is being smart on this. They're firing all the problem ones, and they're just hiring new ones, because you don't have to be a federal judge to be an immigration judge. You just have to have a JD, which is a legal degree. And you can, like, for anybody in chat, they're hiring right now. If you want to go to Phoenix, you can make a couple $100,000 a year being an immigration judge. You just have to have a law degree. And because they are going to funnel it into people who are aligned with them, because immigration judges are hired by Homeland Security. It's not a normal court system. It's just a Homeland Security, bureaucrat. This is the stuff you work on and do, because that's what you can. That's how you take. You've got to look at how the leftists do it. You've got all these people burdened. So terminating employees, reducing government, hiring your people, and then making strong economic changes to the United States, canceling H-1B, getting rid of people through mass deportations, self-deportations, etc. That's how you lock in the stuff. So yeah, in a couple administrations, you would be able to probably have what you need to actually prosecute these people who are doing that kind of stuff. Is it ideal? No. Should we want the people who did this stuff to go to jail? Yes. Can we do that right now? No. I've been pretty consistent. You've heard me say from going back to the elections, nobody is going to get prosecuted successfully for this stuff. So that's not even worth the effort. Now for Comey, we got all the evidence.
To see the prosecutions happen is the thing.
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to be able to get it done.
Yeah,
I would like to see the prosecutions happen.
Well, I've said it before too. The way you do it is you bring it under RICO, so you can bring it in districts that are completely outside of DC and these federal enclaves. You've got to bring these charges like in Mississippi, in Alabama, in Tennessee. That's
in the deep South, huh?
Those are the most consistently. Where have they had red senators, so that those blue slips where they get to pick the judges are going to be in the friendliest zones, and it's been in the South for a long time, because you can't do it in Colorado. God help you, you can't. We've proven you can't do it in Utah now. They're a problem. You gotta.
Utah is also being told that they have to do a different map for their districting.
Yep.
Which brings in
Temporarily.
the last real topic is Supreme Court stayed the lower court regarding the Texas redistricting. So while that is on hold, the redistricting does affect the 2026 election.
Yeah, the
until
Supreme
that
Court
is fully decided.
Yeah, the Supreme Court under the Roberts, as the Roberts Court, has made it pretty clear that their philosophy is the state legislatures get to do what they want. They're not going to fuck with it because it's a state legislature's, like they have a doctrine that basically says you have to first assume the state legislature had political grounds to make a district map, and you have to provide evidence and prove definitively that they had other like racist reasons, like specifically that to disenfranchise a minority. You have to, like, anyone bringing the lawsuit against the legislature to challenge a district map has to prove definitively that it was for those reasons and not just political. Like the Supreme Court has said, that it is completely legal for a legislature to draw districts politically. Like that, if that's the
gerrymandering's been done forever.
That gerrymandering is just the price. That is just what you get for winning.
Politics is the practice of power.
Yep. That the state legislature is allowed to draw the districts as long as they're not ridiculous. You can't have a district where you split it. Like what the Supreme Court basically said is you can't have
Illinois.
Yeah, they have to be contiguous. Like the zone, it has to be connected. If you've played
but
Risk,
that's where you get like the little snake like districts that pass through 7 to 20 different cities,
and the Supreme Court
just
says
to
that's
make
okay.
a racial districting.
And that's the Supreme Court.
That's the other court
previously
that they've got going, though.
No, but they did. Yeah, the Louisiana case is going to end up overturning the Voting Rights Act requirement for minority districts, and that'll change. That'll be a game changer. I still think that comes down with enough time before the 2026 election. Like everyone who's being doomsday about the president, like I see Eric with his pessimistic prediction, is not understanding the fact that immediately about 15 seats evaporate for the Democrats.
Right.
As soon as the Voting Rights Act goes away.
Just with the Texas thing and that signal, that's 3 to 5 seats that are probably going to be switching hands.
Yeah.
So the midterms, I don't think are going to be the slaughter that everybody thinks it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And the truth of it is, as long as you have to look at...
And the Senate map is good for the Republicans right now.
I still think we end up winning in Michigan because we have a former deep state candidate who's going to be up there, and they'll win because they like putting people like that in to foil Trump. Anyway, also economically, we're in a situation where all the stuff Trump is doing to get us back on track should be fully coming into its own around the end of spring, summer of this upcoming year. And so like gas is already coming down immensely.
I'm under $2.
Yeah, it's a downstream impact from that. It takes, now that gas is coming down, and once it stays consistently down, I still think Trump is going to make the deal to end the war with Russia and Ukraine, and he'll immediately bring that Russian oil back online into the world economy. And now we're talking $30 a barrel gas.
Well, and we also had just this last week another win. Trump rolled back Biden's Arctic refuge drilling bans in Alaska. So you can now start drilling in Alaska in certain places that had been banned. And you know who's the biggest supporters of it?
Alberta.
The natives.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's why.
Go figure.
Well, no. Do you know that when you live in Alaska, you get your oil check?
You get an oil check every year.
You get a royalty check based on how much oil is pumped out.
Mm.
So if you want to no worky.
But the argument was that like the indigenous people were the ones that were so upset that we were drilling, in Alaska. They're the ones who are happiest about this. They were all celebrating this win that we would start drilling again in these areas. because that was the reasoning Biden used to stop most of the drilling was it's indigenous people's lands. So
yeah,
that
the
will
very
also
people that
bring
actually
on,
wanted it.
yeah, that'll actually bring on some more oil online because we know Alaska is full of oil.
So Mark's a $30 barrel will hurt American jobs. We have already.
Well, that's the landman thing.
Yeah,
we've already to be kept.
Well, no, we've already. We're not. They starting under the Biden administration. They already took offline a lot of new drilling. So the oil that's being pumped out is fairly cost effective, right? And it's already built into that. And we're allowed to export. There's a
Get
lot of
back
different
to
things. Yeah.
Filling the reserves at cheap rates instead of expensive rates,
and that's
also become a net exporter again, like the first Trump term.
And when it drops
Comics
down,
don't you smirk at talks.
And when it drops down that low,
I'm sorry, I thought that was fucking funny.
I knew exactly what you were smirking at.
Number one, the House of Representatives 435
well, maybe
seats.
smirk was the whoopee told me.
So I don't know how you get to 433 to 0 because there's two
Whoopi
seats.
told him.
Yeah,
I know. That's why I was laughing.
Yeah, there's the House of Representatives has been capped at 435 seats for a long time, which is why districts,
which is why
keeps getting
censuses
bigger and
are
bigger.
so important.
Yep. Because that
becomes the ratio of where those seats are assigned to state by state.
Yeah. Yes, Marks. It is correct that American shale oil is not cost effective when it gets below like $40 an oil a barrel. But we've really slowed down on shale oil drilling compared to where we were in fracking. So it's not as big a deal. I think the economics work out fine because the general positive of energy costs being that low increases, especially if you're trying to reshore manufacturing. It'll more than offset. Yeah. So now the other thing is going back to the courts. I mean, the big news this week is that they are going to hear birthright citizenship.
Yep.
That is the granddaddy of the issues, because you turn that off, you make birthright citizenship no more, and
you get rid of anchor babies.
It is a game changer
reason for
on
people
an
to come
exponential
here.
level. Yep. That your kids can't be that. Your kids can't be, because the anchor babies under the immigration laws of the 1960s, as we heard earlier, allow for sponsoring effectively whole families. It's called chain migration, where the anchor American citizen child acts as the link that allows the chain to grow to capture everybody in the family. And if we cut that off, then we get self-deportation, where no, you don't get to stay.
There's no reason to be here anymore.
I mean, we've already seen that. I've got a video of a dude from Louisiana talking.
Well, Holman is now at a confirmed count of 2 million people have been deported or self-deported.
Yep.
That is the low end of what it is, because that's what we know has left. Or been deported.
Those are rookie numbers. We got to pump those numbers.
Yeah, we do need to pump those numbers up. But
this is this is out of Louisiana. It's an anecdotal video, but I'll just show because I think it spotlights what we're looking at for this kind of situation.
So we've had ICE and DHS down in Louisiana for about a week now. And as a business owner, I've been running my own construction company since I was 18 years old. I'm 27 now. We do painting, roofing, drywall, tile, ceramics, trim, molding, carpentry, flooring, concrete, a little bit of everything.
Let me guess, you can't get any employees.
I'm seeing firsthand just the shockwave them boys are sending across the state. No immigrants want to go to work. None of them want to even ride in a truck like mine with a ladder rack on it. And it is so amazing. I've gotten more calls in the last week than I've gotten in the last 3 months.
He's explaining, he's going to keep going on, basically that every time he would get undercut because he couldn't, as a small guy, couldn't keep up. It was the big contractors who would do that stuff. So now he can get paid and do that.
gets actual jobs because they're not undercutting. Yeah.
GC scrambling to try and finish projects. Halfway through, these guys not showing up to work, starting projects. Landlords, you know how a landlord always has, their go-to guy they call. The boys ain't showing up to do nothing. And this just shows you how bad the problem is down here in Louisiana. I mean, we got a population in our whole state that's like the size of LA County.
And so in Louisiana, right, like just showing up completely guts it so that now the American guy who owns his own place is actually getting work.
Because they're not getting underbid by corporations, larger
underbid.
companies that
are
are
using illegal labor,
cheaper labor.
Yep, and this is what's gonna, like, as this keeps going on, we're gonna keep getting more, like, when they talk about unemployment numbers, this is where I don't really care about unemployment. When they're like, we haven't had all these jobs created, we've lost jobs, we're losing
the people that are
because they counted illegals working,
right?
And and you start sucking away, like Homan said, 2 million people. Yeah, that's going to cause job loss, right? Well, yeah, those people shouldn't have been getting the jobs anyway.
Yeah. Well, someone please think of the large corporations losing money.
If we get an unemployment rate of around 6 or 7%, which would seem like terrible, but average Americans are getting more jobs and their wages are going up because businesses have to pay them real wages, because the profit margins, you can't just have crazy profit margins. It's a net win for the country versus what the business people would say. So I think,
net win for the working class of this country. Yes.
And do by the way, who shared that video? It was JD Vance.
Yes,
with his tweet saying mass migration is theft of the American dream. It's always been that way. Every position. Do you know that rents have gone down every month for the last 6 months?
Yeah, because of all the illegals that are being
because the
deported.
illegals are being the houses are coming open because there's nobody in them.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too is that because of the overcorrection of 2020, with causing the housing market to skyrocket, now that's beginning to correct as well. So there's multiple factors in it. There's the illegal immigration aspect of it, which is making more homes available and apartments as well. And there's also the fact that, the market's getting kind of shitty and the prices are beginning to drop.
Well, and what you'll also see with the unemployment is it won't be people just electing to get out of the job market altogether, which is what we saw for 5 or 6 years, where people just gave up trying to find a job. That's actually been going on pretty much since Obamacare, because you had people being cut from being full-time to being part-time to avoid Obamacare.
Yeah, if you
by
work
the
32
employer,
hours,
that kind of thing.
Anything over
so you were having to
32
get 2
hours.
part-time jobs to make up for being cut from being full-time, because they didn't want to put people on to Obamacare or onto the Affordable Care Act, whatever. But it's been going on for a while that people were just electing out of the employment system altogether, just not getting jobs, which also taxes us on, all the welfare benefits and SNAP benefits and all that kind of crap, which is where the big, beautiful bill with that thing in there that says you must work at least 20 hours a month, which is still ridiculous. It should, if you're able-bodied to qualify for benefits, you should have to be actively looking for gainful employment. 20 hours a month is a joke. If you're able-bodied, you should be able to get a real job.
Yeah, you would think.
But all these things, again, like we've said for weeks and weeks and weeks, interconnected. Each of these dominoes is being put back up because they've all fallen. And now it's time to reset them up to where things actually work. But we got anything else on the courts? I got a couple more clips, and then we've got memes, and we should probably get out of here. It's getting late.
Yeah, I get to bed. I'm tired.
All right, we're going to do 3 quick clips. One is, once again, Jasmine Crockett. I just found this one hilarious because
my
she's complaining.
favorite.
She's complaining this time about, how she might have to move back into her old district if she wants to keep her seat. But
oh no,
the
how
reason
awful.
she's complaining is hilarious.
So if I hear you correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, you're actually debating about whether to run in a different district than 30?
I'm debating about whether or not I would run where they put me, which is where I live. Yeah.
In 33.
In 33.
And what about the idea of just moving back into 30?
Again, on this fixed income that I am paid in Congress, the idea of actually buying a new home or getting we don't.
I figured that's where you would go. This fixed income of $174,000 a year. I couldn't possibly move
by the
and
way,
buy a house.
not counting any, this fixed income can be supplemented by speaking fees and other things anytime she wants. Because
she's on TV constantly.
The Congress doesn't restrict itself from getting paid for speaking engagements.
Cry me a fucking river.
Classically, fixed income refers to you are a retiree who only has Social Security.
You're getting Social Security only.
Okay,
it sure as hell isn't $174,000 freaking dollars a year.
You're getting $1,800 a month in
her
Social
salary is
Security.
considered a fixed income. So anybody who has a job and has a salary is considered to be on a fixed income. Fuck off. That's stupid.
Talks what it is that the new map is going to draw her out of her district that she was currently in.
Right.
Because they're doing the redistricting. So to be back in 30, where she might be able to try to run again, she would have to move to get back into her old district. In the current district that she would be drawn into, there's not a chance in hell she wins.
Oh, but the poor baby only makes $170,000. Oh no,
174. Yeah.
Sorry, 174,000 a year. That's how awful.
Yes, so fixed. Plus, they probably also, she probably has stipends for other things.
And I know that some people may take issue with that because they talk about how much money.
And she's definitely not paying for her own health care and all that crap.
No.
I have to pay for health care every month.
We make, and I get it. It's not that we're obviously getting minimum wage, but by the time you talk about having I have a mortgage and I have an interest rate that is.
Live within your means, you stupid bitch.
Yeah. Just like the rest of us.
3%. Interest rates are not that low anymore, right? That's number one. Number two, so it's a matter of, do you sell your home, then go somewhere else and get a higher interest rate? There's all these variables. And as a single woman who has one income, who's not allowed to make outside.
If I was single and making $174,000 a year,
you're fucking
I would
sad.
live like a freaking king and have tons of money left over. I would have bottles of Pappy everywhere behind me and still have money left over.
Yeah.
The argument that Congress needs to make more money is absolutely out of touch and stupid, especially when we see people like Pelosi making hundreds of millions of dollars while making $174,000.
Income. There's a lot to be had there. I
I'd
think.
kill for that money again.
So that's clip number one. I just found that one hilarious that that's what she's complaining about. This one I find even more hilarious. This is Newsom complaining.
We've had a number of meetings with bipartisan meetings, Republican, Democratic, Senate leaders, talking about disaster recovery, not only for the people that have been torn asunder in Southern California, particularly in Los Angeles, a $33.9 billion request that we have into the administration, but the support for each other all across the United States, from North Carolina to the floods and the disaster that unfolded a number of months ago in Texas. And so that's the spirit in which we're back out here making the request anew.
This bitch is complaining that Trump hasn't done enough about the LA fires, that he said that he would apparently take care of everything. Is Gavin Newsom not the governor of California?
In name only. It's not like he's
California that is not approving any permits.
Yeah.
Houses still haven't started being built, but it's Trump's fault, even though California set up, the second Trump was elected, I don't know if you guys recall, California set up they spent like $5 million to set up that group to try to oppose Trump at every possible point.
Well, the
but
other
he's
thing too,
bitching
remember,
because Trump hasn't rebuilt LA.
Well, remember the other thing too is that they're going to fast track all those permits to allow them to rebuild, and we all knew that was not going to happen, right?
But what permits they are talking about doing is for low income housing.
Yeah.
Let's replace all the people that, let's replace everybody's housing that, they got displaced, and let's put in low income housing everywhere.
Yeah, of course. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So it's just like Democrats do not take responsibility
making California
for
shitty again. Should be his slogan.
Then we got, just because this one happened tonight, we'll play this one just because this is going to be the news cycle tomorrow when you're watching all the political shows, if you watch any of the other ones. Marjorie Taylor Greene going on 60 Minutes doing her struggle session because she has now gone full blown into, I don't know what you would call her now.
I'm going to ask you about this almost solid support he has among Republicans in Congress. Is there in that support fear? Does the support come about because they're afraid that they'll get death threats?
I think they're terrified to step out of line and get a nasty Truth Social post on them. Yes.
And they're watching what happened to you?
Yes.
Behind the scenes, do they talk differently?
Yes.
How?
Oh, it would shock people.
Well, let's shock people.
Okay. I watched many of my colleagues go from making fun of him, making fun of how he talks, making fun of me constantly for supporting him, to when he won the primary in 2024, they all started, excuse my language, Leslie, kissing his ass and decided to put on a MAGA hat for the first time.
That's not fear, though.
That was one clip from 60 Minutes. And if everybody was constantly bad-mouthing Trump behind the scenes to Marjorie Taylor Greene over the past 4 years, or the past 8-9 years, don't you think she would have been bringing them forward and talking about it? Because she's been full-on MAGA for 8 years. She's just now upset because the White House polling said there's no chance in hell you win a statewide election. So she has gone full blown into, I'm going on The View, I'm going on to MSNBC, I'm going on to CNN, going on to 60 Minutes to talk about how bad MAGA and Trump are. There's another portion of this this interview where she's told by the interviewer, well, you really need to denounce all the toxicity that you have put out into the world over the past few years.
Did she?
She said, well, you've also done it. So why don't you denounce it? But I mean, she's doing a struggle session with all of the leftist news channels to try to be accepted, because I think she wants to be the next conservative on The View at this point, because she's not going to have a job.
What exactly caused her fall from grace? Because she resigned, right?
She got told.
She resigned after she was told she was not going to win a statewide election. She wanted to run for either Senate or governor, and was told the numbers aren't there.
Okay.
She's upset about the Epstein stuff. Fine. But I mean, to burn everything down over that?
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
Because you're not going to win a statewide election, and no polls show that she would have a chance outside of just running for her district in Congress again, because she is locally liked. She is not statewide liked.
She's Lauren Boebert for Georgia.
Yeah.
And
essentially.
Yeah, at least Boebert has a little bit of sense to like, she knows she got, like, hey, do you have aspirations of running for Senate? Hell no, she'd get her ass handed to her.
Well, and she's in a blue state.
Yeah.
MTG's in a red state, and she's still not popular enough to win in a statewide election because most people see her as a bit crazy. I have liked things she has done in the past. I have liked her standing up for certain things. What I don't like is just completely flipping on a dime when you're told it's not going to work. Whatever you're thinking is not going to work.
Fucking Tox's comment.
That Tox's comment is true, but So you're going to see all the clips of MTG on 60 Minutes this week. So I wanted to get at least one out there because we are the show that is actually on the weekend. There's not a lot of, this is what will be being covered this week. The stuff that happened today. So wanted to get that out there. Chad, do you want to bring up memes?
Yeah.
And is there anything else you guys wanted to cover? I think we've gone long and
almost midnight, dude. I need
we've
crash.
covered a lot. I mean, we've covered everything
got-
on my list except for EU and X, because the European Union decided to try to fine X, Twitter, 145 million, I think it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Elon's like, screw you guys, you're morons.
Fuck off.
Here's a nice palate cleanser. This is John Daly just living his best life.
John Daly's always living his best life.
Look at this. He's like, hey, I'm at an event. I'm gonna tee a ball off a girl's ass. This is how I do
I'm
things.
shocked that he is wearing shoes and socks. He almost always golfs barefooted anymore. It's hilarious.
Yeah. All right.
His whole golf cart has been turned into a cooler for his beer.
That's funny.
He golfed with Bryson DeChambeau. They got together at like 10:30 in the morning for a tee time. And he pulls up with his personal golf cart. And he opens up the front of it, and it's just filled with beers. And DeChambeau's like, little early? He's like, I'm 20 in, bro. 20 in already. I'll be 60 in by the time we get done with this round.
All right, let's get our memes here. We got Bart Simpson. UN declares war on dangerous conspiracy theories, such as, quote, the world is not secretly manipulated by a global elite. And Bart,
what an odd thing to say.
Our Democratic mayor and governor are destroying my city. I'm done. Next time I'm voting for a different Democrat. Or I'll move to a red state and vote for
Democrat. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we got Lauren Chen. I have never once dealt with a government apparatus and thought, yes, you people should have more control over my life.
Yep.
True.
That post was not sponsored by anyone Russian. EU's own opinion.
I love this one.
User reviews.
I saw Elon repost this one. It's, yeah. It's Rotten Tomatoes for governments.
Yep.
All right. Then we got round 2. I don't think that Americans quite understand just how sick and tired of their bullshit we Europeans actually are. And then response, we are descended from the people who were so sick of your bullshit that we sailed to the other side of the world.
If this was Billy Madison, it would be James Carville going, no, I have no response. Or no, it was old school, wasn't it? Old school.
Yep.
James
Yeah,
Carville. I have no response. That was a perfect answer.
And then Frank the Tank. I blacked out for a minute. What happened?
What did I say?
All right. So we've got a girl sitting on Santa's lap saying, for Christmas, I want a dragon. Santa goes, be realistic. And then the girl says, a government that actually arrests people guilty of corruption. And Santa responds, for what color do you want the dragon in?
Red.
Yep. Meanwhile, in Minnesota,
Somalia light. I did love. I saw a guy doing a whole TikTok thing where he was like, "You can't come after us Somalians because we stick together. You come at us, and we're going to come back at you. But we're going to go talk to our auntie. We're going to go talk to our cousin. We're going to go talk. They're going to go talk to these people." It's like, yes. Apparently, unless you're in a blood feud back in Somalia and you guys are bringing that over to here and can't get along either place, Somalians will not side with Somalians if you're in that blood feud. We've talked about that for a few weeks.
All right, our next meme is Keir Starmer. Free speech has not been banned in the UK, and we will arrest anyone who says it has.
True statement.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
We got another badge here. So we've got Harry Sisson in a Simpsons scene. The resistance against Trump continues. And then Lenny, what did he say? And Carl, I don't know, something about being gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got that. All right. Leftist when Trump says mean words like retarded or piggy, and conservatives after a decade of being called deplorable, racist, uneducated, subhuman, bigoted, fascist Nazis.
Yep.
Just drinking our tea. 21st century Western European governments and free speech. And it's two children cowering in a corner in front of a bunny rabbit. So funny. I support the working class, wearing a communist hammer and sickle t-shirt. And well, shucks, good to hear, friend. And he hands,
he's trying to shake his hand.
Yep. And because he has a cross around his neck and a Confederate flag on his truck with a deer carcass in it, and the kid communist was like, "No, I'm not shaking your hand. You're not working class that I approve of."
Indeed.
All right. One more. 4. All right. We have a twist it, pull it, refresh the tree of liberty with the blood of tyrants, bop it.
A bop it.
Unhealthy, but it's plant-based. Marlboro cigarettes.
Yes, but I smoke hundreds.
I like Stone Toss. He has great comics.
And
real quick, because I just realized I missed this like an hour ago. Tox celebrates 4 months of membership. 4 months, time to cancel. That was right before he gave out 5 memberships. All right, I think I'm caught up on all the stuff.
So then we have a meme of a pink-haired NPC woman. I should film my mental breakdown and post it online. Yes.
Which is exactly how you know it's all theater.
All right. Republicans, hey, everyone come see how much corruption we found. Arrests 0. I mean, what happened? Did your balls drop off? With the
That's kind of how I feel about it.
Just got to come to terms with it. And I think, that was the...
Belle said she put 2 on your Twitter feed, your actual Twitter show of this.
Oh, yep, here we go. All right, let's see.
As long as there's no music.
I guess we'll find out.
Across the country, many white men say they're being left behind. Job fairs
like
pass
a
them over,
political ad.
unemployment lines grow, and headlines signal a shifting landscape. Companies chasing diversity targets in potential. Across the country, many
we
white...
got that AI public domain music, should be okay. And then we got...
Hours after close can keep us quiet.
Let's see what this one is.
They think a sign in a couple hours after close can keep us quiet. It isn't the sign, Bull. It's the seat. Back table says we don't belong. So we make it ours. Every night, same time. We meet, we plan, till the whole place... They think a sign and...
I'm not quite sure what we're using.
Yeah,
I'm not sure either.
Bullpen in the early Brahma's college days. Okay.
Oh.
Got it. So, all right.
All right. I think we might get out of here in under 3 hours if Comix is really quick.
Good night.
Telling us what he's got coming up. Fine, I'll just cover your crap. Chad, what do you got coming up?
We got our part 2 of the gayest MadEPAP ever on Tuesday. And Brahma's going to be there for this one. And on Friday, the Ascendant Art podcast, which I don't even know what we'll be talking about. I don't think, does anything come out this week?
Well, you were going to cover Kill Bill, and then I don't know that you saw it. So
Kill Bill,
maybe you'll cover it this week.
The Whole Bloody Affair?
The Whole Bloody Affair. I'm looking at eyeing Wednesday where I can commit to the 4+ hours that I'd be in a theater to watch it.
And I will not be seeing it, but we'll also do our deep dive into Landman because...
I mean, it's just both movies put together, right? I mean, that's all there is to it.
No, they added
with some extra scenes.
There's
and
like 20 more minutes.
They've gone back and colorized all the blood, I believe, right?
Yep. They the
all the
Crazy
things that
88
would have made it NC-17 before.
Yeah,
they're
they
now going
the Crazy
back.
88's fight was done in black and white because the MPA was going to give him an NC-17, so he made it black and white so you didn't see the blood.
Gotcha.
And it worked. It totally worked, apparently.
And there's more of the animated sequence, isn't there?
Yes, the Lucy Liu anime backstory.
And then they removed the bride's, basically the intro into Kill Bill 2.
Gotcha.
I think is what I've heard. And I don't even like the movie. I'm just going off of what I've heard.
I like the first one. The second one.
I hate Tarantino. I do not like his style.
Really?
I can't stand it.
It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards?
Inglourious Bastards.
I liked Inglourious Bastards. That's that and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I actually can tolerate those. Because Inglourious Bastards, just whatever the Nazi dude, that performance was so great.
Yeah.
And I liked the character. I didn't really care for the movie all that much, but his character was so good. And I thought that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a pretty interesting movie. And I like the sequence where Tex and everybody shows up at Brad Pitt's house at the end. I know you. But, yeah. So we'll probably be talking about those things. We'll be talking Landman tomorrow night on Comix's channel for Monday Night Meltdown, since Comix won't promote it. Tuesday...
So keep it quick!
I'm on Mad's new channel. Wednesday, we do not have a Christian panel this week. Thursday, back on Comix. Friday, Ascendant Art. No Bourbon and Boarding this week. And then we will be back here. Got some credits for you, which we'll have to update because Copy Kitty and Toxic Man Flu and Sean Estep were all so generous tonight. So we'll be updating them next week. But here's your credits, which we will talk over as usual. It is going to redirect you over to Culture Casino's 6-Minute Daily for tomorrow. Just give it a like and leave. Also, give us a like.
Don't stick around and watch it. You'll be waiting a long time.
You're going to be waiting a while for that, but I told Culture I would send him a raid every now and then. So here's your credits. And mute the music. Yeah. It's going to be a few hours until Culture actually does his 6-Minute Daily.
Is it? I mean,
No, it's like 10 p.m. Central, I think.
Didn't he used to try a Sunday show?
Yeah, he was trying to get it back going before the health issues, and then it is not in the cards at the moment. I mean, he hasn't really even been able to join us all that much on Mondays and Thursdays, so...
Yeah, I'd rather him come back when he's healthy and ready, so... Because I like Culture and I want him to stick around.
Correct.
Which is why he refuses to come on your Friday night show anymore, too, Chad. I don't think we've asked him to since, since it happened. So
I didn't want to put any kind of pressure.
I will. I will tell him you need to be on there, or we're just not going to invite you back. You think it'll work?
I don't know. I still let him
uncomfortable Chad.
At his own time. I don't like to be pressury to people who have health issues. It just doesn't seem right.
Oh, I would also like to mention everybody in chat be praying for, it seems fine now, Dr. Jones, who was a guest on this show a few weeks ago, had a bit of a health issue as well.
Oh, no.
So he is having to change some dietary stuff and make some adjustments to get back to healthy. So just keep him in your thoughts and prayers as well. But he popped on to Bourbon and Boarding for the last, maybe 20 minutes last night. And kind of gave us a little bit of information on it, so he seems to be doing better. So
also, keep a red shirt in your thoughts and prayers as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of health stuff hitting a bit of the fellowship lately. So
indeed,
take care of yourselves.
That's true. Being healthy is priority one, because everything
coming from a
starts
guy
there.
who sits in the chair about 12 hours a day between work and then second work.
And smokes and drinks all day.
When?
I
don't drink all day. I drink at night. I smoke all day.
Smoke all day.
But I'm in the
Smoke
chair
all
way
day,
too much.
drink all night.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great
All
week.
right.
We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Night.